And we are live. Are we live? I think we're live. Hope I wasn't delayed
Yes.
there.
Yes, we are live.
Um, so let's see how. Okay, welcome to the Ancient Angels podcast, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about a very dicey subject. This is a video you're going to want to send to every one of your Christian friends that are freaking out about Muslims, because we're talking about the Muslimification of America, okay, and the world. And this is a very important subject. We were going to do a part two of the little season stuff, but that's going to be on hold because it's more important that we talk about this Muslimification that's happening because, oh my gosh, the amount of misinformation and stuff that's out there right now is insane. And I don't know if you guys have heard about the dude that's in, what was it, Dearborn,
Dearborn, Michigan.
Dearborn, Michigan. Yes,
Yeah, he was a wall kisser
yes.
plant.
So there's the Muslims are taking over, guys. I don't know if you haven't heard, everybody. The Muslims are taking over the world. They're taking over America. It's gonna be Muslim America soon, and
Well,
you
they
guys
did
need to
win a
start
lot of
having more
elections,
babies.
right? Over
Oh
this
yeah, they won
this past November.
they won an election, and in
New
the
York
big one,
City, lots of things in Michigan. I saw somebody
yeah,
post a list. Yeah, there was quite a few.
yeah. So they're taking over. There's a Muslification going on here, guys, and I'm gonna screen share some of this Muslification because
Texas too. Wow.
yeah, it's like
Something you
everywhere,
expect.
and this is so important that we understand the Muslification of America before it's just out of hand, and everybody. I mean, all the Christians are like talking about it. There's like Christian craziness going on with like Christian wars happening. But this is one of the ones I'm going to share with you guys starting out here. Let's just go screen share, and we're just going to jump right in because ain't nobody talking about this, and the Christians seem to be freaking, I don't know, off on this one a little bit, but that's okay. The big mainstream, they're off on a lot of things, so we'll forgive them. But let's start with this because here we go. Let's see this here.
This is going to be the day the American Civil Rights Movement starts to reclaim our country. White Christians are sending these Islamic dogs back across the ocean. The American Crusade begins today. November 18th, we take back Dearborn, Michigan.
So yes,
So, do you guys hear about the Dearborn, Michigan thing, JT?
I mean,
Of course.
I saw the guy wearing like the bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
I saw him giving a speech before like city council or whatever, some kind of a public
Yes.
hearing. And yeah, he was saying all the things like he was some kind of white nationalist, Christian nationalist.
Yes. Well, listen to this. This is kind of fascinating. So this is his bus, his tour bus, that was actually cohorted by another man that was running the tour to going to Dearborn, Michigan.
yesterday these people, they traveled from hundreds of miles outside of Dearborn, Michigan, and they entered the city clearly trying their best to disturb the peace so that they could clip farm the footage and continue this shameless false propaganda campaign about Muslims and specifically about the citizens of Dearborn, Michigan. As we'll see in this next clip, after the original organizer of this march actually visited Dearborn and realized for himself that there were lies and false propaganda purposefully being pushed, he did nothing more than simply state these facts. And as a result, people with money who were promoting his campaign flipped and now are supporting this guy.
The American Crusade we got no room for cowards. We got no room for traitors. They're worse than the Islamic bastards, white men who turn against their own.
How did you get in Anthony's bus?
We're deep. We're everywhere. This is amazing. His campaign manager fired him 2 days ago when he came to Dearborn, Michigan, and he bowed down and prostrated before the Islamic temples. His own campaign manager, who bought this bus for him, came to our team. We're not cuckolds here. Fuck the Muslims. Go home.
So after Anthony Hudson actually visited Dearborn, conducted himself like a mature adult, and saw the false propaganda for what it is, people like this guy A man who was charged with attacking police with a baseball bat during the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol said that the founding fathers would have skinned him alive and burned him.
The face of treason. The white spineless jellyfish.
So, for those who don't know, this man, Anthony Hudson, originally had the idea to go to Dearborn, and when he got there, he was showing up to attack the Muslims. He ends up being like, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry that I was attacking you guys because the Muslims didn't attack him back or whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm wrong. And this guy was like one of his people in his group who took over as a crazy person who is now attacking the whole group and then gave him his bus. And so there's just so much craziness going on. But I think it's fascinating that the dude that was originally starting it got there and was like, hey, I didn't realize I was wrong. It's kind of comical in some regard. Now, this is the clip that's gone super viral. I want you guys to watch this because we're going to rewatch it at the end and have a better understanding.
We're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be a part of, Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home.
We are at a turning point. We will be a person of the presence of Jesus Christ. Let the true worshipers arise from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. There's one body. There's one baptism. There's one Jesus. There's one Holy Ghost. Let the church arise.
I mean, that clip gives you some kind of feeling. Did you get a feeling from that, bro?
I mean, what was I supposed to feel?
I don't know. It just felt something. I could feel some kind of spirit of I don't know what to describe it. Like some kind of like rage or buildup or something.
I mean, I didn't feel anything wrong with the Christian guy said.
No. But you felt it on both sides. I think there was some kind of it was this clip is witchcraft, guys. This clip is designed to evoke some kind of emotional pull in you, whether you're Islam or Christian. It's designed specifically to create a response in you. Now, when you listen to what the Muslim guy says,
we're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be a part of, Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home.
Now, I want you to notice that all those people are just sitting. They're just chilling. That guy's a little radical, crazy sounding, right? But the people were just kind of chilling. Now, the interesting thing that he said, though, is we're done hiding. We're done being oppressed. We're done being judged. And you got to ask yourself, well, what's he actually talking about? Why are Muslims hiding? Why are they being oppressed? Why are they being judged? Well, if we look back as to why he says these things in New York City, okay, he's in New York City. Who was responsible, JT, for 9/11?
Israel.
Oh, but I thought it was the Muslims.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're told it was a certain amount of hijackers that were from Al Qaeda. Lots of them were said to be Saudis, and it was playing from Afghanistan from a cave.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we're told.
From a cave, and from people that throw rocks, guys. People that throw rocks in a cave, and these people that rock throwers in a cave planned this whole thing to take over and hijack the most advanced system of government and all these things, and our planes and our military and all this stuff. And do you wonder why? We know that it was obviously not them, but imagine being them. Imagine for a moment if you were Muslim after 9/11. Imagine knowing that you had nothing to do with 9/11. You had nothing, your culture had nothing to do with 9/11. Your people had nothing to do with 9/11. And everywhere you go after 9/11, everyone is evil eyeing you. All the people around you are evil eyeing you. All the people in New York are shunning you. You can't go into stores without getting looked at or kicked out of because they don't like the way you look, the way you dress, and you're being oppressed. Imagine that was your reality. Now, Now, with that understanding, it makes a little more sense why he said these words.
We're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the...
Now, see, do you know why now it makes a little bit more sense when you hear what he's saying? It's not just like, obviously there's the crazy iterect of like at the end where it's like, this is the correct religion, right? But the first part, you understand what pushed him into thinking that, right?
But do you think that guy could be an op though?
Oh, I think for sure he's an op. If you notice, the crowd doesn't have the same energy as him at all. They're
Yeah,
just
it's like
sitting.
this guy is trying to stir up, and I think that's what you're probably getting at in this clip.
Yes.
It's like it's trying to really polarize people. It's like they're coming in a real aggressive way, and so we need to be staying on the gospel. We need to proclaim Christ as King, and the Holy Spirit is giving us power, and they want us to have a conflict, or at least appear
Yes.
to think that there is one developing.
Yep, that's what they want. And these people are just sitting down, dude. They're like sitting in Times Square on the ground. They're not up there going like, ah, like this guy is, okay?
Mhm.
So like he's feeding off of the oppression that these people have experienced, which was not created by them. It was created by Israel. So when you understand that that's their circumstance, it kind of changes your perspective a little bit. You're like, oh, wait a second. Now I know what he means by being oppressed. And you're like, so this guy is designed to create a response. And the response is this. Is the crazy Christian crowd getting like riled up in a sense? You know what I'm saying? Like they want us Christians fighting against the Muslim people, and like they want chaos. They want division. They want that. That's what their goal is. So it's important to understand that, because what I'm about to show you now is it's very disturbing, some of it. Okay, I'm just gonna warn you guys right now, because when we go through these clips, you're gonna have a totally different perspective of what's actually going on in the world around us, because a lot of people say what?
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to ask, do you have any clips showing like who the guy who is from Dearborn though, who's acting like he's some kind of radical Christian?
Yes, I do have a clip of that.
Okay.
So, and by the way, for those that don't know, this is our supposed new Muslim mayor of New York. He's Muslim, right? He's Muslim, right? Wait a second.
So we're told, yes.
Wait a second. I thought he was Muslim. I thought this is a Muslim takeover, JT. What's going on here? What's that little hat he's got on? I thought he was Muslim. I thought this was a Muslim takeover. Oh my gosh. A Muslim takeover, huh? Muslim takeover. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That looks like a real Muslim takeover, don't it?
Wait a minute. Go back to that clip. Zoom in on his wrist.
Oh, yes.
Oh, what do we got there?
For those who don't know, that is the red Kabbalah bracelet of the occult. Okay, so
even the way he's shaking his hand, isn't that kind of like the Freemasonry like handshake over there?
Yeah, I think that is something unusual there. For sure,
the way he's shaking his hand.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Busted.
It's a Muslim takeover, JT. It's a Muslim takeover, and we need to go back to that clip and see that clip of that radical Muslim guy saying, this is the correct religion everyone needs to be a part of, and the crowd just sits there and goes, are we sure that we agree with this guy, everyone? Like they're just like sitting there.
How soon do you think Mondani is going to be kissing the wall?
I think he's already kissed the wall.
I'm just saying, like, would you be surprised if in the next couple of months you see him at the wall?
Yeah, no, not him.
You know, because I do think that was bait for us, like playing that clip of those morons all saying they're going to go to Israel as soon as they are elected mayor, and then he says he's going to stay in the 5 boroughs.
Oh yeah,
and work for the citizens of New York. And then wouldn't it just be the beautiful irony that he ends up going to Israel anyways?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be there if he's not already.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is pretty funny.
Americans, we have found the head of the snake. This is where our country turns against us. We're here in Dearborn, Michigan. Jesus is King of America. Jesus is King. Thank you, God. Oh, well, well, well. Oy vey, what do we have here? Looks like we got another Jew trying to act like a Christian.
Just that's all I wanted to play. They're so like super ridiculous. So obviously that's the dude from Dearborn, Michigan. There's videos surfaced of him kissing the wall and saying that he is proud of his Jewish heritage.
Kicking me out. I am Jewish. If you say anything negative about Israel, I am Jewish. My sister served in the IDF. I was bar mitzvahed on the Wailing Wall in Israel. I am a Jew. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. But I am a Jew, and I love Israel.
Really?
That was Cenk Lang. He's such a fishy guy. A loud Christian activist who was locked up for years over January 6th and got pardoned by Donald Trump.
With a
He was in
baseball
Dearborn,
bat.
Michigan
He's
yesterday.
the only one violent
A
guys
city
in,
with a big Muslim community.
mind you, he was one of the only violent guys in January 6th. Okay. This man was one of the only ones that actually tried to do violence. Okay. There was like, I went 2 or 3 or something that actually were trying to be violent. And mind you, you heard it himself. He's a Jew. So it makes you wonder what kind of psychological programming has been done to this man. I don't know. Let's keep listening.
He jumped off the bus, waving a huge cross, yelling, Jesus is king, and this is a Christian nation, and then pulled out a Quran and smacked it with bacon right in the street to insult the Muslims, since pork is forbidden in Islam, and tried to burn it while blocking traffic, but somebody grabbed it and ran with it. It turned into chaos with shoving and police stepping in, but his goal was clear: stir up hate, make Christians fight Muslims. I say he's a fake, secret plant paid to cause this division, because we have videos of him saying clearly he's Jewish, as you just seen. We have a video of him in Israel kissing the wall, and looks like his bar mitzvah. Check it out here. But he's out there acting super Christian to trick real Americans into hating the wrong people. We thought all this anti-Sharia talk was organic anger, but now it looks planned. This guy is a straight up fake plant. There isn't any way that any Christian I know would do something like this. Any normal Christian would visit Dearborn, talk to the people. And did you guys see the way he spoke to the city council yesterday? Look at this clip.
About lying to our faces, pretending to be Americans, wearing your suits. But that doesn't happen anywhere else where you guys are in charge. There are 53 Muslim majority countries, and in all of them, it is tyranny.
I'll post the rest later on a different video because it's pretty long. There's no way a Christian would act this way. Jesus would definitely not have acted this way towards people he disagreed with. I was going to say enemies, but we are not enemies. There's no reason for this hostility. In my opinion, this was done to turn us against each other so we ignore what's happening overseas, like how Israel just bombed a Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon yesterday, killing 13 civilians. Hit areas in South Lebanon, taking more lives, more civilians, and students in a bus. Strike in Rafah yesterday, killing civilians in Gaza. While we're busy arguing and shouting in our streets, bombs are falling on innocent families there, and the real plan seems to be keeping Muslims and Christians split here at home, so no one unites against the bigger tricks. We got fooled. The writing is on the wall. This division helps the same forces bombing Lebanon and Gaza, and we need to wake up and stop the hate and see who's really pulling the strings before our country tears itself apart. I believe this guy is part of the Israeli propaganda campaign that they are paying for here in the U.S. to sow division and separate us. Muslims and Christians together destroys the Israeli narrative. They know this.
So, what do you have to say about that, JT? Any thoughts?
Yeah, this guy's very obvious a plant. I mean, what are they trying to say that he was kissing the wall at his bar mitzvah? He looked a lot older than 13 in that clip, right? I mean, maybe I'm just not informed. Do they have bar mitzvahs after they're 13?
I don't know.
But the way that he's presenting himself, especially because I did see a longer clip of him before the city council, he's kind of acting like something you might expect somebody who listens to Nick Fuentes talk like if he was being real provocative.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really going to be the same guy who's talking about his bar mitzvah and kissing the wall?
You
never would have put the two together. Is the way that this guy is. You could just say, let's just say we take him at his word. He's a Christian, but he was from a Jewish family. but when he's being provocative, like using Christ as king as like an insult to people, to Muslims, and to what they tell us on the Daily Wire, it's anti-Semitic to say that. So he's trying to be really in everyone's face. That's a bit double-minded to be kissing the wall with the black cube of Saturn on your forehead and all that stuff. That's yeah, and I think it's very suspicious that he was a provocateur during January 6th. Then he gets out of jail recently.
One of the violent ones, the only violent ones.
Yeah, and he gets out of jail recently. Yeah, was he a provocateur? Was he a plant on January 6th too? Because they needed a violent insurrection in order to justify locking people up. And then supposedly he just gets out recently and he's back to his same old tricks. Is it because the 3-letter agency said, hey, we got another job for you?
Exactly. And here's just so you guys know how violent Muslims are in other countries. We need to go over their violence and their violent nature. Ready? Here's a Jew talking about how violent they are.
Just take a flight to Morocco, Tunis, Algeria, Turkey, to Iran. Iran is the biggest enemy of Israel. There's a beautiful Jewish community of 35,000 Jews living in Iran. Free.
So your dream would be to go back to pre-Zionist Israel, the way Jews were living in all these nations.
100%.
Is that what you want?
I myself, I'm born in Palestine. I'm already 7 generations from Palestine.
Oh, wait.
I want to go back there. I didn't want to live under the Zionist regime. My whole family gone out, like tens of thousands of Jewish people have gone out since the creation of the state. I want to go back. This is my country, but under a Palestinian government. The land should go back for the Palestinians from the river to the sea. And I want to live there as a Jewish Palestinian.
Oh, wait. I thought it was like violent. I thought they were so violent there. Let's check another video real quick. This one's interesting.
Israeli occupation troops in Gaza found a Jewish cemetery for soldiers killed in World War I, maintained in pristine condition in the Hamas-run Gaza. And they proudly posted photo ops in front of it without even realizing it undermines their main propaganda about Hamas. I thought Hamas hated all Jews. The Western Zionist media class keeps saying that Hamas are pure evil, rabid, anti-Semitic spawns from hell. Yet the very existence of this pristine, well-maintained Jewish cemetery alone has shattered all their lies and propaganda. Another propaganda-shattering moment was captured here in a testimony from an Israeli woman about her experience on October 7th that has been completely ignored and buried by Western media outlets. She said, and I quote, "They come in, and I tell them I have 2 children. They say, 'Don't worry, we're Muslim. We will not hurt you.' One of them sees bananas and asks if he can have one. I say yes. They stayed about 2 hours, then left. Anyone with an IQ above 1 knows by now that Israel were responsible for majority of the lives lost on the 7th of October.
These are the bombs, guys. Look at these cars. I want you to see all these cars for the 7th of October. This is a photo of all the cars that were destroyed on the 7th of October. Do you think guys coming over with little helicopters and machine guns were able to bomb these cars like that and decimate them? I'm curious. Do you think that that's possible? If I had a AK-47, even if I had 30 men with an AK-47 and a paraglider, do you think I could do that much damage with 100 men with AK-47s and paragliders? Do you think that's possible? No, that is not possible. This is why he said an IQ of 1 would just look at the damage and realize, oh, wait, that wasn't done by the AK-47 group with the paraglider Muslims. That was done by Israel. They did it to themselves, guys. Now let's just continue.
Apache helicopters raining down Hellfire missiles ran out of ammunition and had to reload multiple times.
Wow.
AK-47 weapons cannot do this to Israeli cars. Take a good look at that.
There you go. That right there. What are your thoughts, JT?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very likely that October 7th was just one massive false flag. And I know a lot of the early reports on some of the more deplorable things that Hamas did on January 7th or October 7th had to be walked back later. But of course, these lies are still repeated about all the things they did to babies and all kinds of just horrible things. But yeah, like I did also hear that allegedly Israel was shooting people who were being taken hostage.
Yep. Yeah,
So
they were called the Hannibal Directive.
Yeah, they were killing their own people who were going to be taken hostage. So
yes. Yep, the Hannibal Directive. Now, for those that don't know, there's this other issue about Israeli settlers, okay? And we have to discuss the settlers because this gets into why they're attacking and what's going on exactly. And just to be clear, the reason why the Muslims are coming in to your country, the reason why they're invading every country, I have to just be very, very clear about this, is because their country is being bombed to smithereens. Their land is being decimated. Okay, they have nowhere to go, and they are invading other places. Okay, and when they go in there, they stay as a group because that's naturally cultures do. They naturally group together. That's society. And so they're staying as a group. They're like, oh, hey, I moved to this town and whatever. It's great here. Yeah, you should move here too. We'll start a business, blah, blah, blah. And they move into these towns, and then they conglomerate because they group together, and they're like, let's make it like back home before Israel bombed us. And then they're like, yeah, let's start doing the prayer halls that we used to do. That would be great. And then they all get into Congress voting positions because they group together, which Americans can be doing this too, by the way. There's so many more Americans. They just don't do it because they don't know.
Well, here's the real issue, though. How are these people having voting power in countries where they're not citizens?
That is questionable. I don't know how that's happening. It's just people don't do anything about it.
Well, I think that this is a issue definitely where all these conflicts that the Western powers, the English, the Americans, some of these other countries in Europe, that we fought wars on behalf of Israel. We destabilized the place. And now you have refugee crises all over the place.
Everywhere.
And then so they move. And I think this is a mass migration issue, just kind of first off, is just the fact that I'm okay with some immigration to America. Not right now, I basically say no, we don't need anybody else coming in here. But from like a macro view, it's the fact that what you'd want is people to come assimilate. And when no country can handle this many people coming in at one time because there's no ability to assimilate them. So what you do is you have little sects of people, you have little pockets and little cities and cultures that pop up. And then, so it's like oil and water. They do not mix. And that obviously is going to lead to conflict. These people can't speak the language. Their cultures are totally different. So it's not just that they have a different religion as the people there. Everything about them is different.
Yeah.
And they're never going to assimilate. And I believe, based on these other clips we're showing, that is what certain people want. They don't want them to assimilate. They want us to fight.
That's exactly it. And by the way, assimilation happens, but it happens over like 1 or 2 generations, I think it is. And so it will happen, but it takes like 1 to 2 generations.
I don't know. I think at this point, it's the wrong kind of assimilation where like these countries are being
different.
It's a straight up invasion and these countries are changing. And so like that's what people say. And like, and I'm a little bit salty because I know a lot. I've been really wanting to travel to Europe and I've never been. And a lot of people say, don't come to Paris anymore because it's not like what you expect it to be, because it's really not the Paris that you see on TV and all the history books. It's a totally different place now. So that these places are assimilating in the wrong direction. Western cultures are just being eroded, and it's turning into the third world hellholes these people came from.
Yes. Now there is something else to be considered here, is that these sort of things that are happening, there's a reason. There's these things called settlers, okay? And I've talked about the settlers before. The settlers are going into their regions and they are oppressing these people, attacking those people, kicking these people and killing these people and pushing them out of their countries. Okay, they're pushing them out of Palestine and the Muslim regions to where they want to leave. Okay, they have no choice. They're being oppressed. And they're like, okay, I guess we're going to go. And then they go, and then they're like, well, this needs to be fixed. I guess we'll just do this and make this our house or make this our home. It's not like they wanted to be anywhere other than their home. Okay. And like, for instance, right now, Lebanon and Jordan are going to be soon taken over. They're going to, I'm just going to tell you right now, Jordan is gonna be as part of the Israel's greater whatever.
Yeah, greater Israel project. And also
Yes.
what you're saying too is that that by and large, you would say that there's so many Muslims around the world that they are mostly peaceful, but the most extreme ones get louder when you have them being able to separate them from their homes and the places they live.
Exactly.
So of course, what's going to happen? I mean, it's like it's natural. It's kind of the natural
people.
response is that
It's human.
if you were uprooted from the place you live and you're put in here and these people, quote unquote, did it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, naturally you're going to get some extremists.
Exactly. Now let's talk about how extreme these Muslims in Jordan are, so that way you guys get an idea of how scary the Muslims of Jordan are.
Everything here is very, very, very safe, my friend, and you could come here and visit and see. Jordanian, it's the most safe country around the world.
Oh.
Even in Petra or other Jordan, there are a lot of places like Wadi Rum, like Dead Sea, Amman, everything is safe. You could come and see, and don't miss this thing. Yeah. You come, as we said, something better than nothing. You come as a guest, you live as a friend.
Yeah. Dice él que todo está seguro, todo está tranquilo, que pueden venir.
You come as a guest, you live as a friend. I thought they were crazy Muslims who want to chop your heads off in Jordan. Wow, that's crazy. It's so crazy because let's look at another video clip of Jordan Muslims. Oh, this is in Petra, where the Muslims hang out and run this place. Oh my gosh, look at that cake of hate. That's a hate cake, JT. That's a Muslim hate cake right there.
I want to go there to Jordan. I want to go to Petra.
Dude, that's a Muslim hate cake in front of Petra right there. I don't know what
kind
you're
of a melted
about.
building.
Yep, the melted building for sure. But, you know, I'm just going to say right now, guys, if you don't visit Petra now, give it like a few years, it ain't going to be a place you can visit because you know what? Israel's probably going to bomb the freaking crap out of that building right now. In fact, Israel has bombed the crap out of so many ancient sacred sites. They've intentionally destroyed them so that there is no evidence. That's what's been going on in Gaza right now. Just so
well,
you
right.
know.
You know, that's a good point is that they were showing how that the Palestinians have protected this graveyard, all these headstones.
Yeah.
But by and large, that the Palestinians have protected all these Christian holy sites in Palestine, which if the Muslims are who they say that they are, why would they do that?
Oh, yeah.
Right? They're
exactly.
protecting Christian churches, like ancient Christian churches. Why would they do that if they hate us?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to explain why there's so much hate. Now, mind you, did you know in certain Muslim countries, it's illegal to sing or it's not to sing, to play music on the radio. I don't know if you know that, but in certain regions, it's illegal to play music. It's illegal to watch movies because they believe that watching movies is the reason why the West has been turned into a satanic pit, which, I mean, who invented the movies? Just side note.
So so Wicked 2 is not going to do very well there.
No, it's not going to do. And so this is why people are like throwing their fits. They're like, it's so oppressive. We can't watch movies. I don't freaking watch movies. Okay. So I don't really give a crap. Like there's Sharia law of not watching movies.
I've got issues with that, Brian.
Yeah, I know, whatever. But but regardless, like, dude, and like this is funny though, because this is a Muslim country. Obviously it's not that oppressive when they say these kind of things. Here we go. Here's a Muslim country. Look at that terrorist. Oh my gosh, he's in a cave. He's singing music. That kid right there, Israel needs to just do what Israel does best, which is really sad because he probably will. Mm-hmm. So this is in a Muslim country, guys. Oh wait, they're singing music. American
Hole in
music.
my eyes. That I wear it for the sun and for the dust, for the bad dust.
Now,
when you come in the eyes,
this man's home is about to get decimated by Israel and Petra, and they're going to kill him and his whole family, and they're going to take his place and say that he's sand monkey. Okay, that's what they're going to do. So I just want you guys to keep in mind, this man's probably going to not live much longer because of Israel.
Save the eyes, like the sunglass.
Like the
Yeah,
sunglass.
of course.
Okay, and how do you make it?
And they saw the juniper tree. They will get it. They will do it in a fire. When they come black, I will keep it in some things. And after I use it in my eyes. And every week I use it one time.
Really?
Yes, they will stay 1 week in my eyes. You clean my eyes. You know, they call it how? Our sunglass.
Your sunglass.
Yes.
And where is exactly your house there? In the
Not
cave?
house, a cave.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
nature cave in the high mountain in Petra. Yes, and I live inside the cave. You know, I will share the dinner with my tribe, with the Bedouin tribe. They will stay together. You make the dinner and you do the fire. I will warm myself, me and my friends. And actually, simple life. It's my grandfather before. Do you live in the cave? And I'm now similar. I didn't change no things from the life.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's nice. You want to protect your tradition.
Of course. You know, when I live simple life, I will be
peaceful.
Of course. I'll
Okay.
be so happy.
And why you need this?
And this is, you know, how you wear it. I wear it.
Oh, I'm Bedouin woman.
Yeah.
And now you are not Arab.
Yes.
Take it, take it.
No, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you very
Nice
much.
to meet you.
Isn't that Muslim like terrifying, JT? He seems like a really terrifying bit. You know, Israel probably needs to bomb him and his cave and his whole family, don't you think?
I wonder if he knows he lives in a completely post-apocalyptic wasteland. It was melted.
I know, where else? Where else?
He's like living in this place. Isn't Jordan? We need to go. We really need to do that. We need to do a boots on the ground there. I mean,
we
how
should
epic
go
is
there
that?
soon,
You can see
JT.
you can see all the scorched looking stuff around the kind of the caves that he's around. But then you look off in the distance, you can see just straight 90-degree angles of like a building that's there. It's so crazy. But yes, he seemed very nice.
I mean, yeah, let's go. I want to plan before Israel goes. I want to go there. So we'll have to do that and just see it in person.
We need to
before
tell him about
Israel-
the little season.
Yeah, we'll tell. Yeah, he'll be like, huh? Okay, so these are our Muslim terrorists in a neighboring country. Before I'm showing you now what these Muslim terrorists are like, guys. Before Israel bombs the crap out of them and goes into Jordan and tries to take it over, because it is part of their greater. So let this be on the record. You now see how terrible these Muslim terrorists are in those areas, guys. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, defend Jordan. When they start attacking Jordan, this is the people they're killing. That guy that I just showed you. And it's really sad. It's terribly sad. Let's see here. This is let's do this. Oh yeah, this guy right here. Let's do one more of him just to clarify.
Jesus Christ is King of Dearborn, Michigan. Jesus Christ is King of Dearborn, Michigan. Pick up your crosses and walk, America. Do not be
Being enforced in Dearborn, Michigan, even though that's what the hell. But then you look at this, and this man's carrying a cross, and he has a flag America against Islamification and fear-mongering and on the internet, where apparently Jake Lang, Mr. Christian against Muslims, is actually a Jewish Zionist. And he
Okay, so we already know that. Anyways, okay, so now when we're seeing all this stuff, guys, I'm going to just go through and play the rest of these videos now together with you guys. And I think we've kind of gotten the basis. Oh, one more thing. This is the settlers that have taken over. And then we're going to talk about the regions that they've taken over, because here, by the way, here was Israel. Originally, this was Jordan. Okay, and it came into here. And then it became this. So they've already taken pieces of Jordan. And this was part of Egypt as well. And this was also Sinai Peninsula. This was all original land right here was like this. And then Israel came in and took all this. Took pieces of Egypt, took pieces of Jordan, took pieces of all the other countries, and just kind of created their little mishmash. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But I think what I'll do is I want to show you guys that the sort of, I guess we'll show originally when they came. Let's talk about this. When the Jews first came into the region.
All precautions are taken to prevent the spread of disease as small children debark along with fathers and mothers Two former American vessels carrying nearly 4,000 Jewish refugees arrive at the port of Haifa, Palestine. Jammed like cattle on the rusty craft, the fugitives end their bleak voyage, which began at a Black Sea port. The death of an infant was first blamed on British tear gas, but examination showed it was accidentally crushed and suffocated on the overcrowded ship.
Tear gas, they blamed it on. Now, here is the Jewish people that are in Gaza taking it over today. Okay, guys? Just so you guys can see how Jewish they are.
Where are you from? I'm from Hebron. And before that? To New York. We're here. Call our government to go and settle Gaza.
Doing?
Doing
To settle Gaza.
American? What do I look, Chinese? Yeah, from Brooklyn. You bet.
Great. Where are you from?
Oh.
London, England.
Oh, nice.
Where are you from?
Russia.
Russia.
Oh, Russia.
How old were you when you came to Israel?
I think I was
When
16.
you moved here?
And I came here after high school. It was supposed to be a few months.
Called the Palestinian territories.
What you call the Palestinian territories, I call it the heart. They're Arabs.
With a connection to this land? Is that a settlement there?
That is a Jewish settlement called Pnei Kedem.
Pnei Kedem.
Notice a lot of these settlers that are moving in aren't even from Israel. They're crazy people that are from other countries like New York and Russia and all over the place. They're these crazy people that claim Jewish heritage that come in and murder all these different people in that region. Okay. Now this girl explains what exactly is happening, and then we'll get the roll going. Sorry, I have to.
I want to mention that those settlers, the kids, are being used by their own settlers organization. They come from orphans and welfare. They have psychological problems, and they are being used for political goals. They are invited to agricultural schools, which is on other Palestinians' lands, and they are being brainwashed in an extremist ideology that Arabs are terrorists, they want to kill you, they want to blah, 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 and all of this bullshit. So basically what I want to tell people is that settlers do not move alone. They have bigger people moving this behind, such as settlers companies like Himanuta, which is the daughter company of the Jewish National Fund. Wherever you see settlers attack, it's organized.
So these settlers come in, and she says they have mental problems and they've got issues, and they come in and they attack people and they push people out. This is why all these people are coming into other countries, guys, because of these settlers with they're like orphan kids with mental issues. They get brainwashed into being violent against Palestinians. Like literally on the Palestinian dude's house, these kids show up and start attacking them. This is what's going on.
I take that stick from that kid. That kid needs a beating.
Dude, for real.
Good grief.
But that's the thing. The Muslim people don't believe in doing that, so they're not doing that. So they're because they don't believe that it's right to do that, even though they should be taking the sticks and like beating these people.
Yeah,
because
beating his rear end with it.
Yeah. So this is them. This is a settler's water source. Their water line. The settlers, they're like mostly teen Israeli people or people from other countries coming over, graffitiing, breaking things that the Palestinian, going to Palestinians' houses and trashing their houses, destroying it. And this is why the Muslims are invading your country, guys. Just so you know, this is why. This is going to get food. This is going to get food. This is how they get food in Palestine. This is what's going on. Saying no. Why? That's all they got. This is all they can pick up off the ground. Some beans off the ground.
وانت ايش بتعمل؟ طب جبت ولا ما جبتش؟
Did you get me? I did.
لا.
Just that little bag. It took
ليش
a while.
تعيط؟
Why are you crying?
Nothing
Siblings are starving now.
لك يعني من
You've been
امبارح
waiting here since yesterday? Yeah.
Brian, the chat's saying that your mic is low and the videos are loud.
Oh. Oops. Okay. Well. maybe I'll just talk more into my mic. Is my mic on the right mic?
Well, no, it sounded fine when you talked into it. I think you're just a little bit low.
Okay. Well, I'll just try to talk louder, I guess. Maybe I'll turn this up. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Okay. So let's see some more of these terrorists.
All of the houses, every structure you see around you with a demolition order, and they have killed people. They have stolen the land. They have put the people under a siege. We are surrounded by settlers from everywhere. Settlers' violence now is not only violence. It's not only violence. It's a war on Palestinians.
Israel just issued demolition orders on 14 buildings in this Palestinian village, including the community center in which I'm standing now.
See, this house is targeted by demolition. This is my brother's house. He lives here with his wife, and they are about to have a baby. This is their kitchen, you see, and this is their bedroom. If they demolish this house, no, they are demolishing a house, a building, or a number. They're demolishing a life of a whole family. Last year, we have received one of the very destructive demolitions ever in Khair. 11 buildings were demolished. The demolition was illegal, and it's just only to satisfy the settlers who live nearby. This is the settlement. This light and this car is for the settlers, just less than 30 meters away from the family houses in Khair. They don't care about anybody who is not a settler. It's not only Jewish or not Jewish. No, that's a whole different story. You know, we have in the community of Khair Jewish activists, friends, allies for the community. We eat together, we live together, and we sit together. We, for a matter of fact, are refugees. Our ancestors were transferred in 1948 from Arad, their original land, and they came here.
Yeah.
They have bought this land. We have
just
the
so you know-
documentation. Our ancestors have lived the first Nakba. And
Brian,
we are
maybe you can turn
living-
the video volumes down. Can you turn that? Can you do that?
Yeah. So the maybe that'll work. I don't know.
the second continuous Nakba.
So the thing is, what he's talking about that these people, they're already refugees, because the first time the boats came in with all the Israeli people on it from other countries that didn't live there, that came in, that were pushed in there by Mr. H-Man, came in and kicked all the people out of their Arab houses, and they moved out in as refugee families in these lands. And now they're kicking them out even further after they've been there for, 100 years or whatever.
Here we see the remains of my cousin's house, Saeed Al-Hadalin, who's an artist and activist, a well-known person from the village of Khair. His house was demolished last year, illegally, and his family were thrown outside under the sunshine. It's continuing. You lose it for the first time, the second time. My cousin Zaid, who lived in that house, in 2014, he lost his house 4 times. My uncle Yasser, the house that was demolished last year was his second house, because his first house was demolished in 2007. The family have put up a tent to shelter themselves, even though it's just a tent. It's yet not safe from being demolished.
The government response by Zionists is that these buildings are illegal, they're built without building permits, but more than 99% of applications for building permits by Palestinians are rejected by the occupation, while the settlers are allowed to build 70% of the time.
And they have tried, as I said, a million ways, and yet the people of Khair insist to stay here. We will stay here. We will not go anywhere. If they demolish Eid's caravan, my brother's house, my uncle's tents, again and again, if they demolish millions of times, we will not leave. If they kill all of us, maybe that would be the solution for them.
That's what they think, and that's what they're doing. So they come in, they destroy these people's houses, they destroy these people's land. This is it's just repeat. Look, this is IDF soldiers taking a child and dragging this child. These kids are children. Why are the IDF soldiers taking children? Look at how he's dragging that kid. Look at this one.
Messed up.
Like, bro, these are children that the IDF soldiers are just taking, dragging out. Like, probably gonna kill them if they're still even alive today. Like, kid sits down and then he's just dragging these children around. Look at this. They treat them like monkeys. In fact, I have an Israeli friend I was just talking to, and he was explaining to me about just some random dude that I met on the internet who argues with me. And he was explaining to me how I don't understand the Palestinian people, how they are like monkeys. And he was explaining to me they're like animals there. This is what the guy was, and he was like,
I want you all to take a look at this image here and try to work out what it is that you're looking
Let me
at.
turn that down a little bit.
You might be wondering, what on earth is this full of crap on top of it doing on top of this laneway? And what you're looking at are streets in Hebron, which just so happens to be where my dad is from. And what they have to do on these streets is place these nets. Because what happens is that illegal Israeli settlers who have no right to be there under international law come in and they kick Palestinians out of their homes. And they move into units, usually on the upper levels of the apartment blocks, and they incessantly throw rubbish at the Palestinians below them, to such an extent that they have to install these nets. And I've seen so many videos of settlers throw the most awful things like bottles full of beer, which could really hurt people, onto the poor people below them who've done nothing wrong. All they've done is be born not Jewish. Anytime you read an account of someone who has visited Hebron, they have said that it is the most blatantly obvious example of apartheid that you could ever see. It is racism at its very worst. And how could it not be? This is absolutely disgusting behavior that none of us would ever accept in our countries. So we need to spread awareness of the fact that this is what life is actually like in occupied Palestine.
Do you want to say something, JT?
No, other than this is what racism is.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it crazy? It's like they always accuse you of what they're guilty of. And so they want an ethno-state there. And the fact that these people, that they were not born Jewish, so they're not worthy to stay in this place.
Yeah.
And then so they need to be ethnically cleansed out of this place. That's nothing but racism. Yeah. So now what we're dealing with in our country now is refugees coming here and setting up their own encampments here.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we're supposed to be cool with them kicking these people out of their country.
Yeah.
When it's actually their country. It's not even Israel's country.
Yep.
They're kicking them out of their own country because Israel's occupying it. Meanwhile, all these cities and countries in Europe and America are being occupied by the people being kicked out of the places that Israel's kicking them out of.
Yep.
It's so infuriating, and it's totally racist. It's ridiculous.
Yep. And now there is a problem. I will admit, JT, there is a problem with, like, people can talk about the problem in France where there's rapes and stuff going on by the Muslim communities.
And well, in England, I mean, worst of all is like in London, is the fact that you're not even allowed to talk about it, and they'll throw you in jail for being racist for talking about it.
Yes.
So that's racist to talk about grooming gangs and all this real wicked stuff that happens there, and they'll throw you in jail for talking about it on Facebook.
Yes.
They're throwing old people in jail for talking about it.
And who's making those laws?
Well, I mean, of course, now we're told it's like the Muslim mayors of these places and stuff like that. But yeah, like this kind of stuff. But I'm saying
Israel that's influencing the politicians to make those laws.
It's rules for thee and not for me.
Yeah.
So it's totally cool for them to be absolutely ridiculously racist in Israel. But it's not okay for us to just point out the things that are rightfully true that are not racist, just by identifying that there's a concern for citizens of these countries, that refugees are ignoring laws and the police are protecting them, and they're coming after people for talking about it because that's racist. Oh gosh, like I said, talk about putting a thumb in somebody's eye.
Yeah. Now I want you to notice this guy's name. His shirt says the Crush Team. The Crush Team. They are literally making teams that go through and crush and destroy the Palestinian people for no reason other than to take their home and get a free house out of it. Okay. The Crush Team. Let's watch the Crush Team go into this Palestinian woman's house. See their little tassels? By the way, that means they're Jewish, if you guys haven't figured it out. The little tassels they wear. Look, they're just going into the Palestinian person's house, taking the keys to the person's house. The Crush Team. Going to the next. Wow. If that kid walked into my house, I'd beat the living crap out of him, probably. Just walking in and grabbing the keys of these Muslim people's houses.
Burn those locks off the side of his face.
Yeah. Those Muslims are so tyrannical, JT. Can you believe they just let them, like, man, I mean, if a Christian, though, walked into their house, they'd probably kill you right away. If you walked into their house and took the keys of their house.
Well, this is just, again, it's like you're getting one side of the story. It's kind of like that, you know, after somebody strikes you, then you get a video of their reaction to it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like, so then you blame the person who reacted. And I think that's exactly what's going on. It's that no, I'm not going to defend all of Islam. I'm not going to defend all the people that are migrating to Europe and America. But it's like, you do have to kind of understand the whole context of all this stuff. It's like, why are they extreme?
Yeah.
Why are they why are they here?
Oh, yes.
This is why they're here.
Yep. And we're going to talk about what the extreme parts about the rapes going on. And I'm going to explain that very simply. And you guys will be like, oh, wow, that's why. Okay. This is them getting food. For those of you guys don't know. Look at all those terrorists, JT. They're everywhere. Look at, it's a sea of terrorists trying to get food. Oh my gosh, man. Every one of those guys want to probably bomb and kill Americans. Oh my gosh. Look at them. Look at them all. Hoping to not get shot. They don't even have freaking guns, guys. They got rocks. They've probably been wearing that clothes for like weeks or months. Okay, so let's talk about that. And then let's talk about, let's play this video right here, because this is what Palestine used to look like, guys. It used to be a country like any other country you visit, just people and normal environments. And now this is what we have. This is what Israel has done. Do you see what they have done right here? This is the same street. The same street. This is what it went from. Is that not insane? To look at this. Look, this to this. Hamas was hiding under every one of those buildings, by the way, just so you know.
Disgusting.
That is like insane. So that's why they are invading your country, guys. This is why they are invading every country. Whatever you want to call it, invading, that's a terror. That's not the word. And just to be clear, imagine this as well. Let's just listen to this guy.
Don't go to war easily. Sometimes they have to be bombed into going to war. The bombing of September 11th,
Did you catch that?
Don't go to war easily. Sometimes they have to be bombed into going to war. The bombing of September 11th, opened the eyes of Americans to see the great conflict and the great danger that faces us. And once opened, then the overpowering will of the majority of the people of the United States, and the steamroller, is inexorably moving to decide this.
So we have to be bombed into going to war, huh?
Right. Well, and what happens if Israel gets their greater Israel project? How many more millions of Muslims would be displaced?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are they going to go?
Well, they got to be bombed into going to war.
It is crazy. I mean, it absolutely is crazy that people don't get this whole idea. Is that I know there's a big old battle on X and different communities talking about the threat of Islam, and you're like, but where do you think they're coming from?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're leaving places that are not war torn, they're not being displaced? So when they are displaced, where are they going to go? So that's a good reason why you don't want to spend money, blood, and all kinds of things that it takes to go to war, when it's just like, you think it's all theoretical because you're like, oh, well, I would rather Iran not get a nuke, supposedly, right? We can't afford that to happen. Okay, so what happens when you go to a war in Iran? How many people live in Iran? Isn't it like 90 million people or something like that?
I don't know.
It's a ton. It's a lot of people. So you're talking about if that happens, how many people are going to be refugees after something like that could happen?
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons you wouldn't want that, is because they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, they're going to go somewhere else for sure.
And isn't it that's the kind of the irony of the talking points, and it's like it does feel like that we're trying to go back to that 2001 playbook of like, oh well, if we don't fight them over there, we're going to be fighting them over here. No, moron. If you fight them over there, they're going to be living next to you.
So yeah, it's exactly what's going to happen.
Is that what you want? I mean, I'm saying like that is the result of it. But that's the dirty little secret. That's not what they're telling you. Is if you don't fight them over there, you'll be fighting them over here. Yeah, you'll be fighting them over. You'll be fighting over the groceries with them.
Yeah,
and places
in
to
your
live.
own neighborhood.
Yep,
because you destroyed their home.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, right now, I want to just make something very clear before I play this next part. If you think the Muslims are like the worst people in the world and they're so evil and oh my gosh, these Muslims, they're just the most terrible thing in the world. I'm going to tell you right now, shut your freaking mouth. Until you can convert a Muslim to Christianity, you know nothing about Muslim culture. Nothing. So I've talked to many Muslims, and many Muslims have come to the understanding of Christ through watching my content and understanding the truth. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, if you speak to them in love and in truth, and you show them where the flaws in the Quran are and these things that are going on, they're pretty logical individuals. But you'll see that in the world right now, there's a lot of people turning to Islam. You want to know why? Because they're seeing what's happening to these Palestinian people and these ignorant, foolish, stupid Christians that are supporting what's going on over there. They go, well, that's definitely not right. So Christianity can't be the truth. And this is what's happening. This is why you see people Muslimifying, turning into Muslim whatever. It's because they see idiot Christians supporting genocidal maniac Israeli people, and they're going, well, Christianity can't be the truth if this is what Christianity supports.
Right.
It is so disturbing. Shut your freaking mouth if you think that you know anything about Islam, that you cannot speak to it. If you can't convert a Muslim to Christian, you're not understanding it. You're not being a good Christian, okay? Because if you are a good Christian, it's pretty simple to have a conversation. When you speak the truth, if you're so caught up when you have a conversation that you turn into violence, you don't know what you're talking about. If that's what they want, you are brainwashed as everyone else, and you are not being a good example of Jesus. You can talk to an Islam person and you can convert them very easily. And by the way, people think that Islam is designed, like they're going to kill the Christians, kill the infidels, kill the people. They say it in their Quran. Bro, you don't even know what it says. You know what it says? It says an infidel is somebody that has turned against the Islamic faith. They are technically only allowed to kill people that were Muslim that have turned against Muslims. Do you understand what that means? They're not allowed to kill non-Christians. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to kill Jews. They can fight you and push you out. It says in their Quran that they can fight the Christians and the Jews to take the truth to them. It says fight them to the truth. But it's like, how are you going to fight somebody to understand truth if you kill them? You're supposed to fight them, like argue with them and debate with them and then show them the truth is their ideology. They're not allowed to kill you unless you are a Muslim that converts to Christianity. Then they're allowed to kill you. So if you believe that Muslims are going to go kill you because you're a Christian, you're wrong. That's against their Quran. If there's any Muslims doing that, they are apostates to their own religious perspective. They are against the Muslim religion. They're not Muslim. Okay, they're not Muslim. They're just people that grew up in a Muslim region that have these crazy values and ethics that are unhinged. They're just like crazy anything else. If you can't convert a Muslim to a Christian, don't take anybody's opinion. If somebody's telling you, oh, the Muslims are the dangerous, be like, how many Muslims have you converted to Christianity? Don't take their opinion. Tell them, shut up. Tell them you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut your mouth. Because your opinion is irrelevant if you don't understand enough about their religion to even communicate to them with love and convert them to Christianity. Like, it's pretty simple if you understand these principles. They're not unreasonable human beings. They're human beings, just like you, just like me, just like everybody else. And if you use logic and understanding, they'll go, hey, okay, that's the problem. You know why they call America the big Satan and or Israel's the big Satan and America's the little Satan? I don't know which one.
I think we're the big Satan. I think they're the little Satan.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. Okay, you just witnessed a whole mouthful of it. You just witnessed a whole bunch of the reason why we are considered the Satan, because our society perpetuates Judaism's like disgust on humanity. Bro, we create all the porn in the world. That's disgusting to them. And guess what? Who owns it? Israel. All a bunch of Jews create it through America. Okay, so like we create all this disgust that has ruined society. People think Western culture is like the best thing in the world. It is not the best thing in the world.
It used to be.
It used to be. Yeah, once upon a time when we had Christian values attached to it. It is not what that is anymore.
Well,
Okay?
it's Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, it's Judeo-Christian now for sure. So that's what our culture is, and it is evil, and it is perverted, and it is wicked, and it is gay, and it is stupid, and it is it's bad. So if you think your Western culture is such a great idea, how come you don't have a bunch of children running around? Okay, I think the Muslim culture might have something better figured out about their family values that is better than the Western culture. Okay, because obviously they have children and they take care of one another. Okay, what did the Western culture teach you? Have your white picket fence and leave no one alone, and everybody's freaking depressed. Okay, what makes you think Western culture is the best thing to protect in the world? What makes you think that? Like, why is everybody's alone and depressed? At least in the Muslim cultures, they all take care of their family. They all live together because they have no other choice. But they actually believe in the Quran not to let another person be homeless. They don't have homeless people in Dubai because it's against them to even allow them to have homeless people. So, like, think about it, guys. Like, you just got to think about it as Christians. Like, you should not be promoting something you don't understand if it's, like, completely against the narrative of love and of what Jesus taught you. Like, come on, dude. Guys, you guys are being pushed into fear and to hate of Muslims when you don't even understand it. Like, go study the freaking Muslim views and their culture, and then you can maybe be able to speak to them, and you wouldn't be freaked out. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's what they believe? Oh, wow, it's easy. Oh, I'm not so against that. Wow, okay, wow, they actually agree. Oh, they have good ethics. Oh, wow. Oh, it's amazing. Sure, there's some crazy parts of it, but there's some crazy freaking Christians. Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses are freaking nuts. Okay, like, there's some crazy Christians just like there's crazy Muslims. And so, like, that's going to exist no matter what, okay? But that's not the way the majority of it is. That's not how this boat goes. Sorry, anyways, rant.
No, I think the way this is the real issue here is the fact that we are following along with the children of Ishmael spiritually. So you have this nation who's in full rebellion, apostate to God, whether they're related to Abraham or not. And they're trying to do everything in the flesh. So everything is a physical battle. So they literally have to use tanks and weapons of war to take land that was promised by God to Jacob and Abraham. But the issue here is that in Christianity, we believe in the spirit, and our battle's not against flesh and blood. It's of the spirit. So yeah, when you have these warring factions, it's like, yeah, so they want you to be afraid because this is a physical battle versus these people. But meanwhile, it's like, if you show people the love of Christ, that's how you can truly win them over, like literally hearts and minds. But yeah, when we are following the lead of Ishmael, fighting these people over there, and of course, yeah, like if that's their view of Christianity, it's like these people are my enemy. These people bombed my wedding. These people bombed my house and my hospitals and my synagogue, in my mosque. So of course, then yes, certain people in Islam would still be of the spirit or being of the flesh, where they would fight back in the flesh.
They're human.
So we're fighting on the wrong battleground because we can't win people over. And yeah, that's the real interesting thing is like this dispensational idea that we need to support Judaism, even though they are completely apostate, spirit of Antichrist. They talk about our Lord in the most deplorable and sickening ways. But we need to support that because some people believe somehow soon, because we're in the end times, they're going to all convert to Christianity. But what about the Muslims?
So
there's no hope for them. I think there's a lot more hope for those people, but it's very difficult to reach them when you're physically fighting them at the same time you're trying to win them over to Christ. It doesn't work that way. We're not trying to win people over by the sword. We need to win people over by the Spirit. And you can't do that, again, if you're punching them in the face and you're displacing them and you're throwing them out of their homes and bombing their children. That is why we need not follow the synagogue of Satan. We need to be better than that. We need to be leading. We don't need to be led around by Ishmael.
No, absolutely not. Now, mind you, the Jews actually have a thing in their prophecy that says, like, if the Christians and Muslims ever came together, it would be done for them. By the way, that's a thing that the Muslims or
it's all this. The whole thing
Jews
is
talk
divide
about.
and conquer. I mean,
Yeah.
I say again, that's exactly what they're seeing. That's what you're seeing is that's why they want us to always be fighting. They want us to fight against people of different color than us.
Yep.
They want us to fight different religions of us. But Christianity, if you believe in the Holy Spirit, this thing can spread and change people's hearts if you believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. So yeah, you're denying the power of God if you say that these people could not be converted. But for some reason, people in Israel are going to be converted, even though they're doing all the wicked things.
Yep. Bro, and yeah, our politicians signing bombs is a bad look. Absolutely, bro. Our politicians were
right.
signing
So this is their view of Christianity, right?
Oh my
gosh. Because we're a Christian nation, right? And we're supporting the Jewish people. You know what the number one cause of anti-Semitism is? The actions of Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you're saying that these Muslims are hateful. They hate us. Well, we've given them plenty of reasons to hate us. The Israel has given them plenty of reasons to hate them. Not saying it's good, but I'm saying I understand why.
Yep. It makes total sense. Okay, there's a few more things I want to show. Check this out.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial,
the irony.
Whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
What did he say?
Bro, can you believe
Gosh,
what
like you
he
said,
just
no
said?
shame, no irony. The fact that you have people kicking old ladies out of their homes because it's actually their land, coming into somebody's house and taking their keys from them.
You have to wash it into their brains. You have to brainwash them. He literally just said that we're brainwashing these people. I just want to play it again.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
I can't believe he just said it like that.
They
That's
always
exactly what he's
accuse you of what they're doing.
Yes. So insane, dude. It is insane that he said that.
Every accusation is an admission.
This is 7-year-old Muhammad shares the story about how his family's home was stolen in 2009.
That day they came
These are a
at
bunch of
10
Jews.
o'clock.
Filming
I
it
was
as they enter
in
into
the
his house.
school. My grandma was making coffee. One of the settlers come inside and knocked at the door and asked her, "This furniture for who?" She said, "Which furniture?" And she come out.
Wow. They told her, "Oh, we've got furniture for you." And she comes out, and they just walked in and then just took into her house. And just went into her house.
مسكت هيك امسكهم انا دفعوني على ايدي ضربوني على ايدي حملوني نيموني بالمستشفى.
Just people just walked into her
When I
house.
come
a bunch
back
of
to
Jews.
school, I knew that my grandma in the hospital. I told them, my grandma in the hospital, my grandma in the hospital. I was like screaming at the settlers and put on the doors, "We won't leave."
Wow. We just went into his house, this kid's house.
I feel like anger. I feel so angered that day. I denied they were putting music in celebration. We took our house. We took our house.
Yeah, now you understand why the Muslims are so mad, huh? Doesn't make a little bit more sense, don't it? Freaking insane.
Are you feeling a little hesitant handing over a phone to your teen? Because same. We are actually making the intentional choice to delay.
Oh, never mind. Wrong video. Okay, so let's do, so there's this. Let's see, there is one more video and then I'll explain this craziness here. No, not this one. This one. This one. Let's look at this one.
Oh my God, guys. Literally. This is what they say, the end of the war.
Now, this girl may be an Israeli plant, mind you, but she's in Palestine and posting videos every day.
Oh my God.
There's something wrong with this girl. This is today, guys. This is today. The war, this is peace. The peace fire happened.
Oh my fucking God. اعملي حلقة.
عمي غلط الصورة يا عمي غلط.
This is when they say that there's no more bombs in Gaza. Ceasefire my ass. Literally, we're walking back. We're walking back from today's charity event. The bomb goes off like this much distance. We're like on that side, and the bomb goes off on that side. Holy shit. هلا انت تمام؟ هلا انت تمام؟ نطاح من قلب الظهر. والله قلبي وجعني. Shit.
That was today, guys. That was today, where they told you there was peace going on. Yeah. So here, she says it really well here.
I need Western countries to hear me when I say this, okay? All the Western countries, United States, Europe, especially Europe, okay? I don't want to hear any whining about the Islamification of your country because of mass migration. As you aid and abet, or at best case scenario, just remain silent at what's happening in the Middle East because Israel wants to build their empire, okay? The mass displacement that we've seen in the Middle East is the result of us going into countries, bombing countries, overthrowing, governments that Israel doesn't like. All of that stuff has led to mass migration of Muslims. You think they want to go to your stanky ass country? No, I think they would rather be in their homeland, but they can't live in their homeland because it's been bombed to smithereens. That's the reality of the situation. So if you don't want the Islamification of your country, how about you stop aiding and abetting Israel in their disgusting land grabs and empire building? How about that?
Yeah. Look, some people, of course, want to live in lovely European countries.
Look, Europe is awesome. I love Europe, but it makes me so angry that people are blind to what's happening, right? They think they're so high and mighty. They think they're so great. And it's like, oh my God, we're being invaded. No, you are aiding and abetting the destruction of these countries. Where do you think people are going to go? What do you think is happening with the Palestinian people right now?
So let me give you a quick example. So Israel's been agitating for a regime change in Iraq. They got us to do it, congratulations. And this is not speculation. This is all Israeli prime ministers, Netanyahu, Sharon, saying, we want America to attack Iraq. Iraq is our #1 enemy. Now they're saying Iran is our #1 enemy. We want you to attack Iran. And they have said this for different countries in the Middle East. And they've been trying to destabilize the Assad regime for a long time in Syria. Now the Assad regime was terrible and dictatorial, right? So it had plenty of its own problems, but they were looking to destabilize it so they can grab Western Syria. They destabilized it. They did grab Western Syria. They have Western Syria as we speak. But what was the consequence of that? It pushed that entire war and that destabilization, pushed Syrians into many countries, other Middle Eastern countries, other European countries. My parents' hometown in Turkey was near the Syrian border. Now it is filled to the rim with Syrian refugees.
So yeah, there you go. This is
and invade your country. That's not what's actually happening. If you want that to stop, okay, whether you're in Europe or whether you're in the United States, stop voting in favor of politicians that put Israel up on a pedestal and put their own people down.
So pretty darn well said there.
Pretty much what I said, but yes, I agree. It's the irony is that I used to listen to the Young Turks only after elections when the Republicans won because I wanted to hear how salty they were. But now I find myself listening to them more just because I agree, because it is really interesting. And I think this is what the Zionists are really like they're so angry and they're so losing their grip, because the thing is, so ideologically, I disagree with them on many social issues. On all the social issues, I'm probably on the complete opposite side. But now I'm very right wing, very right wing. And then they're very supposedly left wing. But now we're seeing like the real kind of fabric of what our politicians on either side of the aisle, what they both agree on. And when they see probably somebody like me listening to somebody like them, because we agree about these issues. And so you have Anna Kasparian having conversations with Tucker Carlson. People are losing their minds.
Yeah.
Because they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've worked so hard to drive these people apart. When they're coming together and they're realizing it's us that have been trying to cause all the division, it is making people freak out. And I think that is really interesting. I mean, I think that that's very awesome, because I think a lot of people are waking up to why our governments do not serve the people here. They have a different agenda. And I think it's very obvious at this point what the other agenda is. It's supporting Israel's wars at the detriment of their own populations, their own citizens, the things that they have over there, like free healthcare, free college, all the things that we want. We are just being suffered with all the usury, all the debt, and we get nothing out of it. It benefits us not one bit to go fight more wars on behalf of Israel.
Yeah, not at all. And by the way, this is a Palestinian wedding, and these are Israeli troops. So, the definition of terrorism. JT, you mentioned a wedding. Like, this just so happened to have a video of them. The Israeli troops come into the wedding for no reason. This is the definition of terrorism, guys. Just so you know. This is the definition. At this people's wedding. Bro, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? At their wedding, bro. Like, dude, this is a Palestinian's house or his business. Okay? He has a business selling toilets and sinks and stuff. The Palestinian people, this was his shop. This is troops just came in, Israeli troops came in and decimated his whole shop. Look, just went in through, destroyed all his toilets, all his product. Just smashed everything in his shop. And you're like, that's the definition of terrorism, guys. I think it was, I don't know if this was settlers. This might have been settlers that went and did this. I don't know if it was Israeli troops or settlers. I forget. But the, dude, that is insane. That is the definition of it. Like, what is terrorism if it's not that?
Yeah,
you know what
people
I mean?
living in terror, people living in fear all the time, because people are literally going to come in and destroy everything you work for and potentially kill you.
Yes, literally. Now, look, this is an ambulance. We're in the ambulance. This is a settler's car. The ambulance is trying to get by to go to its location. And the Israeli settler driving won't let the ambulance by. The ambulance is just like trying to get by. Look, the Israeli settler is just cutting him off. Continuously. Look at this. They're just trying to get by. Look. I'd have fishtailed that car.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
I'd have just been like, boom.
Spin them out.
Look, he's driving in the other lane of traffic to stop the ambulance from passing. The Israeli settler is doing this. Just so you guys know, it's their entire culture does this. Their entire society thinks it's funny to disable and mock and torture other people. This is the definition of terrorism. This one's a funny story. This is hilarious. These are
Oksana
gay
Berendt,
Jews.
her husband Alexander, and son Maxim are charged with public mischief after reporting she was assaulted in an attack that left her cafe trashed and vandalized with anti-Semitic graffiti. They say it wasn't them.
Can you imagine how I feel when my place is destroyed like that? What did I do to you? I built this place, okay?
Police say otherwise.
The incident here in Winnipeg this past weekend was staged.
The evidence, police say, will come out in court. Inside the cafe, you can still see signs of their...
See, by the way, their footprints are the shoes of the guy who owns the restaurant.
Morons.
Who supposedly claimed that they tagged his restaurant with Nazi symbols and destroyed his place because no one's going in there because people are like, don't want to go there. And then staged it and said he was being attacked.
Investigation. Backlash against the family has been swift. A Jewish gay and lesbian advocacy group moved out of the building they shared.
We were shocked. We were beside ourselves. We were completely floored.
The concern is...
Wait, did you catch that?
Gay and lesbian Jewish
out of the building
advocacy group.
An advocacy group moved out of the building they shared.
We were shocked. We were beside ourselves. We were completely floored.
Why would they beside themselves and completely floored that someone would come in and Nazi tag up and destroy their building? Because no one does that. Nobody does that. Nobody cares about Nazi tagging up your Jewish building. We just don't want you destroying us.
Almost every one of these stories about these swastikas being painted on things, like
it's
almost
them.
all of them are false flags by Jewish people.
Almost every time.
The concern is held widely.
There's a tremendous concern that this will actually cause more anti-Semitism.
Yes.
Court records show the family is facing lawsuits over debts. They deny staging this for financial gain.
I don't want people to judge us, okay? Wrongly, because we didn't do it. We had no reason to do it, okay?
Now, none of these allegations have been proven in court. What's also unclear right now is whether the family will try to reopen amid all this disappointment and anger. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
We didn't do it, okay?
Right, you know what? But they dialed in on the point is like, so why are people being anti-Semitic? Well, if somebody does that, like, tries to make themselves out to be a perpetual victim when they're actually victimizing real people, well, you know what? People start noticing that and they start liking the people who do that, the groups of people, which again can be very unfair when you start to paint all people who are that ethnicity or that of that religion, to paint them all like that. But it's kind of the same way when you say that Muslims are X, Y, or Z, because you point to the worst examples of them, and that's fine to do that. We're going to paint all Muslims as Boko Haram or some kind of terrorist, ISIS or something. Al-Qaeda, even though Donald Trump had the leader of Al-Qaeda in Syria in the White House shaking his hand. It's so ridiculous. So yeah, if you want to point to the most extreme examples of Muslims doing horrible things, and then you can now paint all Muslims with a broad brush, well, be careful if that's your standard, because that standard will be used against you one day.
Yep, absolutely. Now here's our famous Muslim mayor of New York.
He bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, I care very deeply about Jewish safety, and I look forward to rooting out anti-Semitism across the 5 boroughs and protecting Jewish New Yorkers and every New Yorker who calls the city home.
Oh, rooting out anti-Semitism.
Such theater.
What a Muslim terrorist, that guy. What a Muslim terrorist. Like, it's so obvious at this point.
I want to hear if he's going to go check out what's in the sewers, in the tunnels under the synagogues.
Yeah, he should root out that problem.
Yeah, that's what you need to root out. The people putting the stained mattresses down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Behind me stands Ansar 2, a prison camp in the Gaza Strip. This camp, surrounded by barbed wire and armed guards, is one of nearly a dozen such camps now holding 5,000 Palestinians. Doctors, lawyers, children from the refugee camps, students, labor leaders, human rights activists, journalists. Most are being held without charge or trial, some for months on end, labeled simply as security offenders. All that is necessary under current administrative Israeli law to detain them for months on end. All people. You're here at the detention center to visit your son, is that correct? What happened to him?
They took him from the house at 2 a.m. in the morning. And they accuse him of throwing stones, and they are fining him something like $700.
And how long have they kept him yet in the detention center?
They sentenced him for 5 months in jail and $700 fine.
They sentenced him for 5 months in jail, $700 fine, and he's 16 years old, and it was for throwing stones.
Throwing stones at Israelis that are invading his country in his house. Okay, he's now sentenced to $700 fine, which is a lot of money to them, and all this stuff. You know, like that is insane. And mind you, I just want you to know that, like, again, there's this thing that people will tell you, oh, the Muslims are fine. They're fine in small numbers. But when they get big numbers, guys, that's when they get radical and crazy. Have you been hearing that bull crap spread around in the Christian community? That, oh, when they get big numbers, these are mostly Muslim regions. Okay, mostly Muslim regions, and this is what's happening to them.
Yeah.
Is that right? Are the other children afraid as the result of what's happened to it, or are they continuing the work of the Intifada?
اللي زيه خايفين من
خايفين طبعا والكل خايف
They are afraid and everybody is afraid.
This is terrorism.
لو يطلع كمان في نفس الوقت هذا البلد مركان يجوا يدوروا على البلد هذا البلد.
They have been looking for this boy. They came twice to locate him.
Israel.
Why? What did they think he had done?
They think that he's throwing stones.
And so they want to arrest him?
Yeah, they have looked for him for twice.
They would put him in jail? As small as he is? Small boys this age are in jail?
All these boys.
All these boys?
all these boys.
أنت بتشتغلي؟ How are we supposed to feel when we see our children beaten by the... Sometimes we are asleep and all of a sudden we see soldiers jumping over the walls to the house. And they destroy the belongings in the house.
The jails are not only filled with these young boys, but also the intellectuals, the educated and affluent Palestinians now flooding the prisons.
They've arrested if you speak English, by the way, in Palestine, they will arrest you because they don't want anybody speaking English getting the word out. So they've killed, destroyed, arrested any intellectual person in Palestine or any English-speaking Palestinian person. I know because I've tried to talk to a few people about in Palestine. I just talked to somebody actually this morning in Palestine, this guy that called me on Instagram, and I spoke to him about what was going on, and they arrest anybody that's English speaking. Like, you can't even find people that speak English in Palestine right now, in Gaza, because he was in Gaza. He video called me and showed me the whole street and everything. It was crazy. So yeah, they arrest you if you can speak. They kill you. They try to find you. They don't want people speaking about this.
So who is giving the orders for all the GHF operations?
I was told very explicitly, directly to my face, that our client is the IDF.
Your client is the IDF.
Our client is the IDF.
This is a military.
And this came out in a discussion once where I was in the control room. I was on
a military from America over there in Gaza, and he was setting up a base trying to give out some supplies to Palestinian people.
Control room duty that day. We had shifted responsibilities on a rotational base. So I was in there that day with the radio observing site number 2 distribution. A Palestinian man had picked up some children to let them step on his shoulders to get
Is that video going to get flagged because of the song?
Onto a berm because they were being crushed in the crowd. Site 2
never know.
Was very small, smallest of all 4 sites. And these children are being crushed, and pick them up there and put them up on the berm.
Because if you see this,
and the Israeli Defense Forces liaison officer in the main control center with us comes up to the screen that I'm watching and he says, "Tell your men to get them down."
I don't want to play it because I don't want the music to kill it. But anyways, here's the thing: that dude talks about the story. These kids get on the berm, and the Israeli soldier gets on the thing and says, "Shoot those children and kill them." And he's like, "What?" Like, he said it in Hebrew, so he didn't understand, but his friend next to him understood Hebrew and was like, "Hey, the kids that you guys just set on the berm, the Israeli soldiers just said to shoot them." Okay, and it's terribly, terribly sad. but they got them down. They didn't get killed.
Here it is. In October, the Israeli Magistrate Court of Jerusalem ruled to evict 12 of the 24 Palestinian families in Sheikh Jarrah and to give their homes to Israeli Jewish settlers. The court also ruled that each family must pay 70,000 shekels, $20,000 in fees
Holy
to
shit.
cover the settlers' legal expenses.
Wow. So not only do they have to cover the settlers' legal expenses, but they also have to, in some cases in Silwan, pay to demolish their own homes.
Well, it seems like they're saying they have to pay for the legal expenses that these guys had to sort of fight them to take their homes.
Yes.
So not only do they get to give up their homes, but they have to pay for the legal expenses of the people that are stealing their homes.
Imagine, Joe, as someone, you know, Americans, you know, we're all about property rights and stuff like that. And imagine if a mob of armed extremists came and put a barrel of gun to your head and said, you need to leave this home. This is mine now, and you're with your family.
And there's no, it's not like they have another place for you to live even.
No,
They're not giving you another option.
No.
Which is
No.
even insane by itself. Like say you can't live there, you have to live here. That's insane already. But they're not even doing that. They're
And-
just forcing people out.
And this is happening every single day, but I think that because Sheikh Jarrah is a flashpoint in Jerusalem, it's become like a shocking thing for the media to cover. I mean, this is happening all the time in the West Bank where people are, you know, their homes are getting demolished for just the minor of things that they maybe build an extension to their kitchen or something like that. And then they get demolished, right? And they're made homeless. But in Sheikh Jarrah and Silwan, it's in Jerusalem, which is supposed to be this shared center place where Israel touts, you know, all these holy sites are there, and Israel touts it as we all live in peace and harmony within this area, but it's not true at all.
So this is just like, it's so blatantly obvious that they're destroying these things in these people's houses. It's insane. The thing I want to say too is that there's a lot of people right now that are probably being told that like, oh, the Muslims are in these areas, you know, molesting and raping and all these bad things they're doing in certain places, like in France, and everybody's heard about these like terrorist spots. I'm going to tell you something real quick about these people, the Palestinian people, because in Dubai there's Muslim people, and the Dubai people, they don't even have homeless people, and everything's fine, right? What's the difference between the Muslims in Dubai and Muslims in Palestine? Do you know the difference?
They don't get bombed every day.
Yeah, they don't get bombed every day. There's a lot of differences, but money's the biggest difference. Okay, now Palestine has been hijacked, taken over. It was a region of other countries. It was like all sort of pushed into this one region, which, by the way, it was a country. Otherwise, why would they not have, like, why do they have passports? Okay, do you see this? The British passport of Palestine, the Palestinian Authority passport. Okay, so they obviously were a country. They were a region. They were a place. Okay, what does it take to be a country? It's literally simple. It says to be considered a country, a state, a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. So that was the only prerequisite, the capacity to enter in relations with other states, that they basically utilized to say, oh, well, they're not friends with everybody else, so we're going to not consider them a country, because they had all these other things. Okay, so they were a country. They had these other things, but then they, in the agreement with the Abrahamic Accords, or before that, I think it was the British Mandate of Palestine and all that stuff, like they actually basically took them over and said that there was like a, they basically said that they accused them for taking stuff over or whatever. Anyways, let's see here. Let me bring up this other video here.
We want to know what you're reading now.
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
It's a book by
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Strauss. It's called The Jews Against Rome.
The Jews Against Rome.
Roman Jews.
What made you pick it up?
Well, we lost that. We have to win the next one. Roman Jewish people. But the new Rome, the United States, views itself as a new Jerusalem.
Okay? But
so the new
could not believe this. Thanks, Mike, for sharing this with me, okay? But it's nice to be vindicated. And I quote, America is new Rome. America,
United States.
Constitution.
Who's Rome today? Europe and the United States.
Yeah, they're the arch enemy of the Jewish people. They are Edom, they are Rome, and they're Rome. We have whole books on the destruction of Edom. Edom destroyed. That's what Mashiach is supposed to destroy Edom. It's all over Tanakh. They're just enemies of the Jewish people.
You've issued something else. Start warning to American Jews. I want to make a warning to somebody else, and that's American Gentiles. The minute your country is taken over by anti-Semitism, the minute you start to be a country that's not blessing Israel but cursing Israel, you have begun the process of shrinking away from your empire.
But those who run away from that, within a year or 2 or 5, will all have to run away from here. Once we will leave this place, Hashem will bury America. That's what's going to happen.
The Bible clearly says that the Messiah will come on Mount Zion and judge the mountain of Asaph, which is the mountain of Rome.
There's no argument that Europe was or is Aesop.
Mountain of Asaph.
That Europe was or is Aesop. Right? Aesop, Edom. Today, Edom is America as well. But the Nazis have no place in the world to get.
So they believe, just so you know, and everybody's saying that America is the, we're the good guys, but and the Jews love us, bro. That whole video, we can keep going, but I don't want the music to
Well, you kind of get the idea is that they're calling us Rome. Those are the enemies of Israel. And then so traitors here in our own government call these people our greatest ally.
Yes.
When they're openly advocating and saying that we're their enemies.
Openly.
Not hiding it at all. Calling us Edom.
Yes.
You know what God said about Esau? Of course, we've talked about it a lot lately. That Jacob I loved and Esau I hated. Ironically, spiritually, these people are Esau.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the irony of it all. Is that they're actually Edom. They're the Edomites.
Yes. And this is
the woke right. He said, I call it the woke right.
It's almost unbelievable that he said that on camera. Imagine, this is a foreign leader bragging about how he's censoring Americans. Again, this guy runs a country of 9 million people that's totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist. And here he is on camera saying, anyone who opposes me in the United States, who opposes more aid to Israel or opposes getting sucked into war with Iran, which does not serve American interests, that person is not simply mistaken or wrong. I'm not going to bother to explain why that person is wrong. That person is a Nazi, part of the woke Reich, a Nazi. And the only way to fix it is by preventing Americans in the last country on earth with guaranteed freedom of speech, prevent Americans from hearing the other side. And so we push Congress to force a TikTok sale, which is true, by the way.
TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential.
And we need to talk to Elon.
So we have to talk to Elon.
Free speech is central to the entire idea of America. In fact, it's really the only thing that sets us apart from any other country on earth. And here's this guy, a foreign head of state, who, let me restate, is totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist, is saying Americans don't have that right, and he's going to do some kind of secret pressure campaign on Elon Musk to censor X because it bothers Israel?
Which they did, by the way, and now Hebrew text is no longer translatable on X. For those that don't know, if you go to if somebody writes something in Hebrew and you try to say see translation, it won't show you the translation because the things that they're saying in Hebrew.
When World War II happened and Jews were displaced, Palestinians very open-armed took in Jewish refugees. Jiddo, my grandfather, was living in Safed. He was a university professor. And in 1947, they had taken in a Polish family from World War II who were refugees from Poland. And they were living with them for about a year and a half. And when he had gone to work, he came back and they were occupying his house. Even more than losing everything, it was these people who they had considered friends and they had taken into their home. Taking it was, I think, really traumatic. It is the story of displacement. It's our story of occupation, and it's sad and it's horrific, but it's every Palestinian story. There were always Jews, there were always Christians, there were always Muslims living together in Palestine.
They just came in and took their house and changed the locks, which is that's the story they've done.
I believe that the American government is sort of trapped by the Israelis.
Jeffrey Epstein is one of their tools to trap them.
And what do you think of Dershowitz's denial?
Hold on a second. I want to give you an example. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, Ehud Barak, met Arafat in the 90s, and there was no deal. The reason was Epstein. They were being blackmailed by Epstein. Ehud Barak was also a friend of Epstein, the prime minister of Israel at the time. But he was being blackmailed by the Israeli right wing as well. And they stopped an agreement with Arafat. They were about to reach an agreement there for a two-state solution. But that was stopped because of Epstein. They were both being blackmailed by Epstein.
And so Jeffrey Epstein, in a way, presumably being used as a tool by the Israelis, helped to change the course of history in this region I'm speaking to you from.
That's so insane.
Of course, they changed a thing, and they trapped a number of U.S. presidents by using Jeffrey Epstein. And it wasn't only about sex, it was also the money issue. Where was the money coming from? But everything is stuck over Gaza. And I believe the Israelis have the American government captive due to
I believe
what happens with Epstein, or what happened in the past with Epstein. Rupert Murdoch, newspaper, Wall Street Journal, put out that card or something, a birthday card.
Oh yeah, that was from Epstein stuff. Now, this is actually the
I don't think people understand.
People are like, oh no, but they're putting aid centers in the middle of Gaza and they're helping them, guys. The Palestinian people are just being helped.
And how bad it is in Gaza right now, so I made this map to hopefully help people. There are currently only 4 aid stations in all of Gaza, and 3 of them are in the south. These 3 green icons are the locations of the aid stations, and you'll notice they are in the red zone. The red zone is the area that Israel has deemed unsafe. In these areas, you are going to be shot at. It has been said time and time again, it's a killing field. IDF soldiers are ordered to shoot deliberately at unarmed Gazans waiting for humanitarian aid. The only other aid location is up to the north, which is also in the red zone. There is 1.8 million people on this land, and 60% of it is blocked off. This Hawaiian island is the exact same square miles as Gaza. There are around 4,000 people that live on this island. Maui is 5 times larger than Gaza, and 150,000 people live there. These aid stations are not even real aid stations. They are put in places to corral the Palestinian people. They're trying to deliberately push the entire population to the south of Gaza. In this supposed humanitarian program that just killed over 500 Palestinians in the last couple weeks, just received $30 million from Donald Trump.
So they are pushing all the people into these regions where they can just slaughter and murder them, which they've been doing. It is not taking land. It is a ritual sacrifice. Now, just so you guys understand, when I say ritual sacrifice, like the Judaism that we have today is not the Judaism of the Bible, and this video is freaking nuts. Okay, let me just
explain. Judaism was never a thing in the Bible. It was always a thing that developed after Christianity. Yeah. Christianity is older than Judaism, despite what people might tell you, because there was an old covenant and then there was a new covenant. Judaism was never a thing.
Christianity is the continuum of what the covenant was. So it's the only truth. Now, this is where Judaism comes from, guys. And this video is nuts, dude. I don't know if you've seen this, but what it actually is from.
It's July 3rd, 1933. 150,000 Jews gather at Soldier Field in Chicago to celebrate 3,000 years of Jewish history and nationhood.
Okay, Chicago, 1933. Look it up. Okay. I looked this up, dude. I didn't even believe it because I was like, there's no freaking way. Bro, this is insane. It's real.
Celebrating when they used to worship Moloch.
A fire-breathing statue of Moloch and feeding it children, which we can only hope were not real. The event was called The Romance of a People. It was organized by the Zionist Organization of America, sponsored by the Jewish Agency for Palestine, and produced by Meyer Weisgau, with help from Rabbi Solomon Goldman, as well as Maurice Samuel, the author of You Gentiles. One of the big speakers at the event was none other than Chaim Weizmann, first president of Israel, and the guy who, alongside Lionel Walter Rothschild, authored the Balfour Declaration, which was the agreement that dragged the U.S. into World War I, in exchange for the British stealing Palestine from Ottoman Turkey and allowing Jews to settle there. The event's Moloch worship and child sacrifice rituals, as an expression of Jewish history, confirm that the modern Jews are satanic when sacrificing to their fire god Moloch and offering their children to them, which you will see in a video soon. They still do today. The Bible tells us that the descendants of these tribes shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, confirming that Jews cannot be saved. Just as Jesus warned, they are the synagogue of Satan. And here is the video evidence of that. They were all there, worshiping their ancient tribal god and celebrating the coming war, which would lead to a new world with Jews at the top. The event took place within months of Hitler taking power. I believe this event, and those who made it happen, demonstrate the inseparability of our spiritual and racial struggles, both connected and in perfect line with the biblical timeline and its account of tribes and bloodlines. But whether or not you agree on that, the footage speaks volumes to the character, not only of the leading minds of early Zionism and organized Jewry, but of the Jewish spirit and people.
Like that
Who
is Moloch.
builds a big statue of a bull with an oven in its stomach, makes it breathe fire, and then stuffs children, whether real or fake, into that oven while crying out like banshees and dancing around it? Jews. Only Jews. In the middle of Chicago on a Monday.
Bro, dude, have you seen? I looked up the clip. I think I thought I put it in.
You know
here.
what's the irony is, if you think about it, like historically, about the martyrs in the early church being burned in a brazen bull.
Yes.
How is that different than that?
Bro, it's not. It's all the same. Look, this is like.
Oh yeah, that's Soldier Field. Look at that ancient building right there.
Yes.
That is definitely old world. There's no
Bro.
way they built that to be part of a football stadium. Are you
Dude,
kidding
that's
me?
insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Soldier Field. Yeah, definitely. That's an old ancient Roman temple.
Oh my gosh, bro. When I was looking it up, I was just like, are you kidding me?
No,
Like, dude,
man. Yeah, there's some picture. We'll have to dig that up for JT's mixtape because there's some interesting stuff about Soldier Field. There's no way that was meant to be part of a football stadium. No way.
No, absolutely no way. And this is there's a few more videos I'm gonna show you. And then
Yeah,
I'll
and that
go
was like
to the next.
1933.
George
Look how
White
old
is not
that
a
thing
man of-
looked.
Dude, it's insane, bro. And there's a video, I downloaded it, but it's not in my thing that I wanted to show. But it shows them putting a fake, supposed fake child into the bowl, like an old video. And you're just like, what? Like, are you? And it's not the video, because there's two videos like that. There's one where it's a movie, and they showed the movie clip where they did some movie reenactment. But then they did one at that festival with that same bull. And you're like, it was a supposed reenactment of some kind. What the heck is wrong with these people?
Of understatement or subtleties. His boss at OSS, Stanley Lovell, referred to him as deadly.
Oh, wait, that's the brainwashing one. Let me see this one clip here.
One of the ways of bringing about the collapse of a nation is by bringing about the collapse of its economy. Another is by a nation can lose its glory from war. That is how it happened in the past. The Babylonians, the Persians. The Romans were never destroyed because the Romans split up into many countries. Who is Rome today? Europe and the United States. Rabbis tell us that before Mashiach comes, there will be many wars. And these wars will eventually bring about the collapse of Edom. Not only the economy will be in ruins, but many people will lose their life as a result of this war. And you know this World War II that will be?
Human sacrifice
child's
ritual.
play compared to a third war that will occur later on. And all those goyim who brought about so much pain and suffering on the Jewish
the goyim
people will be punished.
Oh, they'll be punished.
Every square inch of Europe is drenched with Jewish blood.
Oh.
So I'm not envious of anybody living in Europe at this time. Before a new world is built, the old has to be destroyed.
That's what they believe, guys.
So that is crazy. I mean, because you really think about it, we're often told about, and I'm not saying it's not important for us to be told this, is that people in Iran shout "Death to America." They chant "Death to America," and then this guy is not only saying "Death to America," but he's talking about how Europe and America are going to need to be destroyed.
Yes.
So it's, again, that they always, every accusation is admission.
Yep.
They're not only saying death to America, but they're saying death to Europe too.
Yep. It's insane. It's insane. Let's see what else is here.
But what you said to this child was that you wanted her to wear those shoes and to bring a change of clothes.
This guy got caught. He's a pedo that got caught talking to a child.
Yeah, he doesn't look creepy at all.
But what you said to this child was that you wanted her to wear those shoes and to bring a change of clothes because it's going to get mucky and messy. A number of times you contacted this child and asked us to show her something, right?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah? You're aware of the pictures that you sent? How many other children are you talking to?
Maybe 2 or 3 children, not more. Well, it won't be happening again. Yeah, I could sure do.
I hope not. Okay, what's the age of consent in the UK? You don't know.
You see, I'm religious and I wouldn't do it. But you should let me go, please.
You should see I'm religious and I wouldn't do it. This dude just said terrible things, caught. And you're like, are you freaking kidding me? They obviously, and by the way, there's many videos of that. You can type in Jewish people caught with these pedo camera ring things. They do it all the time. There's so many videos of people catching Jewish people involved in trying to talk to little boys and little girls. It's insane. It's insane. The amount of videos I've seen like that. I can't
Mark
even.
Levin has repeatedly called for just murdering civilians, children in Gaza because they're Amalek or whatever. They're stained by blood guilt.
And I'm supposed to, what? Shed crocodile tears for what's going to happen to these people? I'm not. Oh, but don't hurt the civilians. Look, we have to defend ourselves. The Israelis have to defend ourselves. And if there's collateral damage, well, that's too bad.
25 years ago in this country, people didn't talk that way. The idea of blood guilt, because that's what he's describing there. You're guilty because you were born, which of course leads to collective punishment and genocide. That's the basis of genocide right there, that attitude. That was considered totally un-Christian and un-American because it is. And if someone said something like that on television, I mean, he'd be probably pulled off the air for that. You should kill kids because you don't like their parents? That is their attitude. That's the Israeli government's attitude. Well-documented attitude. We're paying for that.
So this is insane. Like, this is, guys, this is absolutely just like...
I would say to England, if I could, an Arab Palestine is a threat to Great Britain and a menace to the world. A Jewish Palestine is an asset to Great Britain and a blessing to the world.
An Arab Palestine, and a Jewish Palestine. Notice Palestine existed, obviously, because why would he even be saying it back then if it wasn't a country?
Right.
It's obviously a country. And so seeing these things, like, guys, seeing this, I hope is dispelling the narrative that you've been fed. Because
John Marks has filed numerous Freedom of Information suits against the CIA and
different video.
This is just absolutely out of control. I promised myself the first story.
This guy is a media dude that came in Gaza. Okay, that literally just filming his reaction.
Being back in Gaza would be just some of the incredible volunteers and the joy they're bringing to kids, even in hospitals. And I'm here, and the first room I'm in, there are four children who've all been hit by quadcopters. 4 children, and then we're in a makeshift ICU, a makeshift intensive care, because there are so many children, and all 4 of these children have been hit by quadcopters. 2 minutes later in the ICU, sitting with this little girl, Aya, who is 5 years old, and she died in front of us. Then there's a little girl, Sham, who just got raced in here. Sham has just been raced in here. And she's been pulled out under the rubble, but they can't find her mum, and her sister has died. And then there's this little guy, Barra. Barra's got shrapnel in his neck. I mean, I can feel Barra's feet, mate. Barra's cold. Barra's in a critical condition, as was a little boy just over here on the floor who'd been shot. He was lying in his own blood for 5 hours in the corridor. Finally, when doctors found space for him on a bed, as soon as he left the corridor, another wounded child went onto the floor. This little boy who was bleeding, his mother was just screaming to him, saying, "Who around the world allows this to happen? Who around the world allows this to happen?" She asked and she asked.
So wicked.
It's so evil. I can't believe the people are not standing up and saying something, guys. You have to say something. Send this video to people. You have to say something. Like, if you're not saying something,
the film is based upon this book, right? Yeah, that's right. This book, Schindler's List. Now, as Mr. Zundel said, this book is a work of fiction. Yeah. Then, Mr. Zundel, you pointed out to me in so many places, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to take the liberty to read part of it here. This book, in the beginning, in the back, and front cover, says this is a work of fiction. Now, think what that... Well, let me read it to you. This is in the very front cover. It says, this book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are either products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously.
That's in Schindler's List. So for those that are brainwashed by that, just so you know, the book says it in the very beginning of the book, which I think we've now seen every video except for this row here, which I don't know if we need to get to it because I know it's running low. Oh yeah, this is this is a concert, okay, guys, a concert in Israel. They're playing footage of the Gaza people being blown up and killed. This is a drone footage, and this one's them, the military going up the stairs, and this is them. This is an Israeli rock band playing death metal, okay? I'm not joking, death metal, literally, in the background, while people are actually being murdered. This is a satanic ritual continuation of what is going on in the world, guys.
Oh my God. I've supported Israel all these years. This is what Israel's doing. Oh my God. And then
this is what so many people are feeling right
anger
now.
at Israel for misguiding me all my life and getting me to support the maltreatment of Palestinians. Then my anger turned in on itself, and I got angry at me for being such a dupe and being so ignorant and never checking anything out. And then shame and embarrassment arose. And then finally a great sorrow for the Palestinian people for all that they had been through. At one point, while we were there, I didn't know that this was a common occurrence. I knew that Israel commonly flew jets over Gaza very low to create sound bombs, which was very distressing to the population, especially the children and pregnant women. But I didn't know, and I found out, that Israeli tanks and drones and helicopters would invade Gaza's space 6 times a week on average. Six times a week on average. And how I found that out is while we were there, Israeli tanks shooting randomly to scare anyone away from the area killed 13-year-old Hamid Abu Daka when he was playing soccer in front of his house in the village of Abasan Kabira, which is about a mile from the Israel border. It's a nice little village. And he was just a victim of random gunfire. So we attended the day after the boy was killed.
Do you think this guy is making up a story? Because a lot of people like to say, oh, guys, this is Gaza wood, they call it, or Gaza wood, and it's just fake stuff. This guy is not lying. He's telling his actual story. You can tell just by his distress in his face.
Well, the irony, too, is that they have this massive Hasbro budget, which is literally the Israeli propaganda. Again, they always accuse you of what they're doing.
Attended the
Every
funeral.
accusation is
And
a mission.
afterwards, we went and visited his home, Hamid's family home, and then we walked back to our bus, which was maybe a half mile away, and there were a bunch of villagers waiting to speak with us. And one woman approached me and she said, "Do you sleep with your shoes on?" And I said, and I knew she was asking, it was really a rhetorical question. I knew that she was telling me she slept with her shoes on. So I asked her to explain, and she told me that Israel's incursions into Gaza 6 days a week, with their random gunfire to scare people away, are so terrifying that people sleep with their shoes on, so that when that starts happening, they can jump out of bed and run to whatever safety they can possibly find. And that is common. Imagine living like that. Imagine growing up in such conditions. It's just horrible. The water was horrible. Many people in my delegation got sick, even though they were avoiding the water. I didn't even brush my teeth with the water. I would buy, purified water, and brush my teeth with that. I was a little afraid. I took showers, but I made sure to not let the water go into my ears and my eyes and my mouth. People were getting very sick, and the people of Gaza were very nice. I never met so many brilliant people in such a short space of time as when I was in Gaza, in every area, whether they were scientists, lawyers, whatever, work for the UNRWA. I was very impressed with the people there, and they just want to live in peace. Please get Israel to stop the blockade so we can get food. Please get Israel to stop shooting at our farmers so we can farm more vegetables. Things like that. They're human beings, and that is something that Israel does not recognize. Israel, if it wasn't obvious before October 7th, it should be obvious now that Israel does not see the Palestinian people as human beings.
Israel doesn't see them as human beings, guys. They think that they're animals. They think they're dogs. Now, I'm going to tell you why they think they're dogs too, just so you guys know. Like, if you, when Israel came into that region and took over that area, all the Palestinian people were pushed into poverty. Okay, the poverty was just rampant in that environment. Okay, so they became poor people. Okay, poor people act irrationally. Poor people do things that are crazy. Okay, they don't have food. Their resources were cut. Their livelihoods were cut. Their aids were cut. Their ability to trade with other nations has been cut by Israel. And they're just a group of people that have been so disenfranchised and so poor and so distraught and pushed down and oppressed. And they're all these Palestinian people are just like people. Okay, they're just like people, and they're not all Muslim. They just happen to live in a Muslim country. So when these poor people that live in a Muslim country that have been oppressed for the last few centuries, decades, okay, they've been oppressed. They finally get pushed out and murdered or get pushed out in other countries. Guess what happens? Imagine these Muslim men that don't ever see Muslim women because their Muslim culture was put into place by Israel to be oppressive. And then all of a sudden they get pushed into France, and they're just dudes that grew up in a Muslim culture. They're not even Muslim. They're just people that have been oppressed and are poor.
It's like calling every American a Christian because it's a Christian country.
Yeah, exactly. They are not Christian. If they did this to California right now, let's say California gets completely cut off from all resources. No boats can come to California, and for the last 100 years, they've isolated California. California would turn into a cesspool of just degeneracy. Now we would say we're Christians, right? We're a Christian country.
Right.
No, we're not. We're just a bunch of cesspool people that have been pushed into the brink of degeneracy. Right. And then all of a sudden they say, then they start going in there and murdering all these people and saying, yeah, these crazy Christians over in California, they're just nuts. They're evil. They're terrible. It's because they're Christians, guys. It's Christians. They're crazy. And then some of those Christians, those Californians, get pushed out and they get on a boat and sneak over to Mexico. And then Mexico's like, dude, what is wrong with these people? They're over here raping people and they're just crazy. And it's like, bro, they're people that are disenfranchised, that have never had money. Everything's been taken from them. Their family's been taken from them. Their whole existence has been taken from them. Everything they had has been destroyed. And then they move into another region. And all of a sudden there's people living there and they were promised health care or support or anything. They have nothing. And they just move there. And then they just start taking advantage of the system. Okay, they're just people. They're not Muslim even. They're just people that have been disenfranchised by Israel their entire life. So you can't look at them and go, these crazy Muslims, guys. No, they're humans that have been oppressed.
Hello, guys. We are going to start this video with a little prayer because I'm probably going to need it after I show you this video.
There's a poisonous gas.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that one.
I was going to say, you're really about to go.
בשוק, והוא עושה כזה, מה אתם ככה שקטים? הרגנו מחבל עכשיו, תשמחו קצת.
הרחפנים לדעתי זה הדבר שהכי מייצר דה-הומניזציה.
telling her story about them bombing and killing a Palestinian person, and she was like, they was just walking home, and she's literally telling her story, and she's like, and they're like, why aren't you happy? You killed a terrorist. And he was like, he was a dude walking home. Listen to this. This is the pagers that blew up, guys.
صرت ترنرني غريبة قمت أنا بدي أحملها وهيك مثل غبش الضوء صار خفيف كتير ما أنا قربت عوجي كتبت ايرور وسهم جيت بدي أكبس انفجر هذا الشيء إنه ما بيضعفنا نقوى عليه ونقول ما رأينا إلا جميل
إسرائيل ما هم شيء بس هم تقتل وتحتل هم بيت العنكبوت هن بيخافوا وبس بيغدروا ما بيواجهوش بالجواج ولو راح شوية أصابع معان يعني المهم بعد نشوف بقدر استعمل أصابعي يعني بقدر أعمل
so I can do everything. Do you see this, guys? These Muslim terrorists? Why do you think they're terrorists, guys? Why do you think they're Muslim? Why do you think they're angry? Bro, did you see that what I just showed you? Those kids' faces were blown off.
Well, the reason that they're considered either soldiers or terrorists is because they have a certain age range where they say that therefore it's kind of the same kind of way that you could say that, oh, Muslims did this from blah, 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 this country they were displaced from. But the country's Muslim, so therefore they are Muslim, so therefore Muslims did this. In the same way that these children are of the age to be soldiers for Hamas or be terrorists, so therefore, hella, we blew up terrorists.
Yep.
Or
it's
potential
insane.
terrorists.
Potential
but
terrorists.
Actually, you really did is you blew up pagers and you maimed children.
Children, dude. This is freaking insane. Listen to this.
Israel does not intentionally harm civilians.
Mrs. Haskell, your forces have shot civilians with white flags. Your forces have shot children. Your forces even shot your own hostages that managed to escape, waving white flags, speaking Hebrew. They were shot. 1,400 health workers in Gaza have been killed by your forces in the past 18 months. 1,400. That's not single incidents. That's a lot of incidents. Last month, IDF soldiers opened fire and killed 14 health and rescue workers, spraying them with bullets, then burying them with their cars in a mass grave along the road. Have any soldiers been held accountable for the mass killing of 14 health workers?
Our soldiers are working in a very difficult environment.
And if it was a mistake, why not call the UN and say, listen, we made a mistake. We shot at 6 ambulances and a fire truck. Please come and look at what happened here. What your forces did, they killed these people, then they buried them in a mass grave. And it took the UN 7 days to get to the site.
Do you hear that? Like, if it was a mistake, why didn't they just say, hey, we did it? Well, it was a mistake. No, they buried them and we found
in Egypt. This is Israeli settlers celebrating Simchat Torah in the back of a Palestinian community. This is a Palestinian house, and the settlers have set up prefab homes right in the back of the community and are now celebrating a Jewish holiday there. And they do their dances and they bring their children and they celebrate their holidays, and it all looks cute on the surface. But the people who built those prefab houses are the people who murdered Aura Hadalin in this village 3 months ago. These are the people who are actively fighting to ethnically cleanse this Palestinian community. And they're doing this whole narrative about Jews returning to their land or whatever, which is especially ridiculous given that there are several Jews currently in the Palestinian community who have been welcomed here, who are welcome to celebrate any holidays that they want, and who are helping defend the community against those fuckers. Zionist ideology, settler ideology, is not about Judaism, it's not about Jewishness, it's not about return to the land. It is about violent capture and colonization of other people's land. And that's all it is, and that's all it's ever been.
And human sacrifice ritual. There's 3 more videos I'm going to show you guys.
I mean, how can a Jew come from Ukraine to Palestine and say this country is mine and you Palestinians have no place here? You can't. I mean, if you didn't have a story to tell, you'd just be a criminal. You'd be some guy coming in and stealing somebody else's land. Well, I don't want to be that. So to justify what you're doing and explain what you're doing, you develop a whole narrative. God gave us this land, and this is the ancient Israel, and we were driven out by the Romans, and now we're, a whole story like that. So now Israelis don't have to feel guilty. They're not expelling Palestinians. They're coming back to their land. The Palestinians are, now we wouldn't say resisting, because that gives too much legitimacy. So what every colonial movement does is it criminalizes the indigenous population. This is the whole story of October 7th that you hear. And here are these criminal terrorists. So here's where terrorism feeds into all of that are simply attacking us. Why? Because we're Jews, they're anti-Semites, they're human animals, as Gallant, the Israeli defense minister, said. Once you criminalize the indigenous population, you solve the problem. We're right, we're good, we're just defending ourselves, right? And the Arabs are attacking us. So now there's no more issue.
So that's exactly what's happening.
As an Israeli doctor, I ask, why is Israel abducting, imprisoning, and torturing my Palestinian colleagues? On February 15, 2024, Israeli forces raided Nasser Hospital, Gaza's largest medical center. They forced all patients to evacuate and arrested many healthcare personnel. 7 doctors from Nasser are still imprisoned in Israel, without charges, without trials, without even knowing what they're accused of. As many testimonies have shown, these prisons are torture camps. Prisoners are beaten daily, denied food, medicine, and proper hygiene. They have no contact with their families for months on end, and every 6 months, their detention is extended with no proper trial and no legal representation. No human being should suffer such horrific abuse, let alone doctors who have devoted their lives to healing, even under the direst circumstances. Today, 95 Palestinian healthcare workers are unlawfully held in Israeli detention camps, including 19 physicians. These are my colleagues, and they are held hostages by the Israeli government. I urge global medical organizations and fellow physicians to speak out and demand the immediate release of all captive healthcare workers.
The healthcare workers in Israel are being thrown into prisons because they are helping against
the
Israel.
Report we are publishing today is one we never imagined we would have to write.
Mind you, this is Israeli.
But in recent months,
she's Israeli.
we have been witnessing a reality that has left us no choice but to acknowledge the truth. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The report written by us at B'Tselem presents facts, data, and testimonies about how Israel is acting in a deliberate, coordinated, and systematic way to destroy the Palestinians in Gaza.
Not just their land, kill the people.
We documented these developments extensively.
Talking.
And based on a careful legal analysis of the facts, we state with a heavy heart, this is a genocide.
Stupid.
Today, Physicians for Human Rights Israel is publishing a report detailing Israel's actions in Gaza. We focus on Article 2C of the Genocide Convention, the deliberate infliction of conditions of life calculated to bring about the group's destruction. This legal definition acknowledges that genocide can occur through systemic and infrastructural means, not only through mass killings. Systematic destruction of the healthcare system, denial of access to food, blocking of medical evacuations, and using humanitarian aid to advance military targets all indicate a clear pattern of conduct, a pattern that reveals intent.
So, lastly, what is this one? Oh yeah, these last video here. Let me see this one.
Sometimes they have to be bombed into going to war. The bombing of September 11th, the bombing
That one's going to definitely get flagged.
You can turn the volume off.
Because of the music.
Yeah, that one will get flagged.
For sure. And then lastly, this one.
They think we're bluffing. We go forward with it. We have the right to use any and all weapons in our disposal, academically speaking, nuclear weapons. And I'm tired of using euphemisms. I'm tired of saying, well, we have something, in the basement, but we won't be the first to introduce nuclear weapons in the Middle East. It's enough already. I said, no, let me bring you back to October 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when Henry Kissinger instituted an arms embargo against us. And what happened? An A4 Skyhawk was parked at Tel North Air Base with some interesting weapons under its wings. And we told the Americans, take your eye in the sky and take a good look at the airplane that's on that runway.
So in other words, we threatened their...
We threatened to use unconventional weapon. I'll leave it at that. And so he said, is this what you want us to threaten now? I said, absolutely, except this time I want us to go forward with it if necessary. They think we're bluffing.
Interesting, right? So that's pretty much it, guys, for what I wanted to show today in regards to all of these different things going on. This is the Muslimification of America. And one last video. This is kind of to conclude it. You will understand. I already played this one, but I'm play it again so that you understand what this.
I'm going to say this again. If you want to help the people of Sudan, free Palestine. If you want to help the people of Congo, free Palestine. If you want to help the Christians in Nigeria from Boko Haram, free Palestine. The people of Libya, the Somalis facing Al-Shabaab, the people in Congo facing ADF and M23, those being killed by jihadist terrorists in the Sahel, those being attacked by the terrorists in Mozambique, and all the other populations wallowing in civil war and terrorism around the world. If you want to end all this human suffering, free Palestine. Until you understand that those who are butchering children in Gaza are the ones who are designing, funding, and orchestrating secretly all these jihadist terrorism and civil wars, until you start condemning the single biggest state sponsor of global terrorism, until you have understood the bigger picture, you have not understood anything at all about Israel and how far its evil tentacles and global ambitions really are. It is only once the apartheid state is ended, its greater Israel project stopped, and its medieval global ambitions to rule the world all replaced by a true democracy in Palestine, with one state for all and everyone regardless of race, ethnicity, and religion, and everyone has equal rights and the right to vote in one nation for all Jews, all Christians, and all Muslims. Only then will all these malicious killings around the world stop, because they only exist as part of Israel's medieval global ambitions to instigate global conflicts whenever they can, wherever they can, and use their allies as useful idiots to achieve their insidious global supremacist.
So now you understand what he meant. And now you understand what that first video I played at the very beginning when the guy said that the Muslims are being oppressed and all this stuff. So, I mean, I don't know how much more there is to say. I mean, I feel like that kind of
well, it's it up. I think the main point I would point out is that yes, there is a clear issue with mass migration in Muslim communities in America and in Europe that have created different their own little population centers, that they're not intermingling, they're not assimilating in these countries. And that is a massive issue. It's changing the culture. Again, it's not just about religion, it's about a different culture, different language. Just
There's
a completely
always gonna be issues when you mix two cultures.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one you do. If you take people who don't speak the same language, have a different culture, a different religion, then it's not going to work well. Mass migration is the result of these policies developed by people who are Zionists, and that's why the H-man always gets such a bad rap. Not saying he was a good man, not saying he was a perfect man, not saying anything like that, but the main reason when you start talking about your own country, you talk about sovereign borders and nationalism, it's always brought up, oh, well, you're one of these kind of people because you want your country to remain like the country that you grew up in, and you want this to be the same country your kids grow up in. So that's why that's always associated with the H-man, and that's why we're always talked about the H word that happened over there, because that is what they're bringing here. It's all the same policies. So yes, you have to look at the result of these policies is a problem from us locally. Now, but here's where you have to go back to, but why did this problem ever result? And it's all about them destabilizing the Middle East on behalf of Israel.
Yep. And Israel's actually paying all the politicians in the other countries, as well as America, to keep their borders open on purpose. They are the ones doing it. The reason why your borders are open here in America, the reason why these people are flooding in, the Mexican border isn't shut down, is because of Israel. They have done this on purpose to keep our borders open so that way they can flood our country with all the people, the undesirables, as you might call them, or as they may call them.
It's the broom of Israel is what they call Islam.
Yes.
So radical Islam is good for Israel, even though it seems like it's bad. Why is that? Because they can justify all their actions, and that's what false flags are all about. So you need a boogeyman if you want to be able to justify a war.
Yep.
And that's exactly what's happened. But yeah, again, I wanted to end it on a note of a godly message, though, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, as I said earlier again. So this is a spiritual war. Whether the Jews themselves are not the problems, the Muslims are not the problem. The problem is that these people don't have Christ. And you're not going to win people over to Christ by fighting battles of the flesh and fighting like real wars and real physical conflicts. So don't give them the reason to believe that we're the great Satan if we're a Christian country.
Yep.
Because again, you're just you're playing into these people's hands by wanting you to hate these people or be afraid of them. You know, we're not supposed to fear the ones who can hurt our bodies. We're supposed to fear the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell. So fear God, let him sort all this stuff out. And yes, show them light, show them Christ. Don't show them Esau.
No,
that's what these people want.
Don't make them right. Don't make them right.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, guys. I'll tell you right now, if you want to learn how to convert, I would urge you that if you make Muslim friends, guys, make Muslim friends and learn to understand their culture so you can convert them and understand what they believe. And I'm going to tell you right now, the key to converting Muslims is about the jinn. The stuff that I talk about when I talk about Gentiles and jinn and genetics, bro, they believe Iblis, which is the devil or Satan, has basically changed all the languages. They believe that only the Quran is the only language that wasn't changed. You can show them that the Quran had been changed and that there was multiple Qurans back in the day, and you can show them that the jinn, that talk about the jinn to them, and they'll get all woo-woo like, oh, you know about the jinn? Be like, yeah, I do know about the jinn. They're called Nephilim. And like, but like when you explain the Nephilim stuff to them, their reality starts to crumble a little bit because they start to see the cracks in their religious perspective. So studying the Nephilim, teaching them about the fallen angels, teaching them about the jinn, teaching them about the word jinn means Gentile. It means giantile. It means descendant of giants. Okay. When you explain that, it doesn't mean demon. It doesn't mean group of people. They believe it's a group of people that are hidden. They're like these secret people, and it's like a taboo subject to not talk about, really. Those are the giantiles. That's what the word jinn originates from, the genies. Okay. You talk to them about that stuff, you study that, and you explain them to that, and their narrative will start to fall apart. Talk to them about demons. They believe in the same things as most of what everybody on my channel believes. In fact, a lot of Muslims watch my stuff and they're like, whoa, this makes sense. This guy like makes a whole lot of sense. So literally read it, like understand the biblical narrative, talk to them about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Bro, you can convert them very easily with the understanding. Like, you know, it's not impossible to, you know, show them love. Show them love. That's the most powerful conversion, is showing them Christ and loving them like human beings. Okay, that's the most powerful thing you could possibly do. Rather than demonize them, you're just making them right when you demonize
Pray for
them,
your
guys.
enemies.
You're making them right. You're making them a bigger problem. You need to just love and embrace and be like, you know what? I know what happened to you guys in Palestine. This is terrible. What's going on over in Israel, guys? That is terrible. I am so sorry for you guys. Like, this is horrible. Like, this is wicked. This is not what Christians are about. This is not love. This is not support. Like, dude, we need to love everybody and we need to embrace everybody. And like, that's really what we need to be doing. So anyways,
Amen.
Hope that encourages you guys today. Sorry, it's a heavy subject of whatever this was, but you know, super long too. Sorry it was so long. But it had to be said. So hopefully send this video to your friends. Anybody that's afraid of Muslim activity, a Muslim takeover, send this video. Please, hopefully it will dispel some of this nonsense. And again, just say, hey, look, if you have anything against Muslims, don't talk to me until you convert one. then you can have a conversation with me about what you think, how evil Muslims actually are. And that would be my statement I would tell people. So anyways, all right, guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
God bless.